Oh my god. Oh. Thank you for the pad. Good evening. Look at that. We can actually see the pad again sometime. Oh, that's nice. I was just about to say, I updated OBS. Everything looks a little different now. I really hope I didn't break anything, because I updated OBS just a little earlier. I'm like, oh no. I usually do not update it for like the longest time until at some point OBS was like, you need to update me now so I actually work, because otherwise fuck you. That's usually what I go for. So I finally updated it. And now the actual unmute button looks different. I was like, wait, where do I actually unmute myself? Hold on. But here we are. This is fine. This is great. But yeah, we'll come back. No, we'll come back is the wrong thing to say. We're starting a new game, actually. Welcome to National Park Girls Lover Parks Edition, which literally just came out like, what, 2 days ago? 3, 2. It's the one Studio LAN game I haven't actually played before. At this point, from the ones that are out and the demo versions and whatever, but this is the one game I haven't played yet. So that's fun. And it is once again gay, as usual. It also has several episodes, so it's gonna be a while, I think, until we get through them all. But that is what I like. It is also voiced. My knowledge, well, I say to my knowledge, but it literally says in the credits, because the funniest thing was, I opened the game and immediately got the achievement for checking out the credits, despite not having opened this specific, like, I opened the game and I had immediate unlock for the achievement for looking at the credits. Which is like, okay, nice. I mean, I love looking at credits. Yes, there's a lot of people in here, a lot of names we are now familiar with. And then one for going to the extras, where I haven't actually unlocked anything yet. We haven't seen any artwork aside from the one on the main screen. You say install but unplayed for very long. You should. It's interesting to me because I don't know the original release at all. So I will only know this one. But that's also good. I do like this because it means I will have my very own honest reactions. I always have my own very honest reactions, but like this time going in blind once again. So I wonder who's going to be my favorite character out of them all. I turned the game to 100%, I think, actually, when it comes to the sound. So I'm hoping the voices are going to be good. Otherwise, we'll just have to look into the settings again at some other point. But yeah, let's get started with episode 1. It has 5 episodes. Chapter 1, Cabin Fever. Oh! Alright. Okay. The game immediately crashes. That's not how that's supposed to go. Right. Let's try that again. Otherwise, I'm just gonna quickly reinstall it. Maybe something is... Okay. Yeah. Oh! Nope! Okay! I think I saw someone else report this as well. Actually, I wonder. Oh no! What? I am pretty darn sure I saw someone else say that that the same thing happened to them. Hold on. Hmm. Hmm. Um. All right. Let's see. Wow. That is not how that's supposed to go. All right. I would like to play a game about gay girls, actually. That would be nice. Hmm. I wonder why. I'm getting an actual, like... Yeah, no, this is the same exact thing someone else had happened to them as well. Let's see. They said they just re-downloaded the game and it worked, so... Oh. Okay, let's try it again. You know what? On the other hand, I'd rather it, like, for some reason break at the very beginning instead of us being like, what, 5 hours in and not having saved once. Okay, let's see. Let's try again. National Park Girls Level Up Parks Edition. Chapter 1, Cabin Fever. No! What the... I don't like that. I don't think that's good. I think that's very bad, actually. Why the hell? Let's try that again. The game is not even a full 2 gigabytes big, so it should work relatively quickly, but still, what the fuck? US works? That's nice. Why doesn't mine work? I've done nothing. I've done nothing except install and open it. And turn up the sound in the settings. That's all I've done. That's all I've changed. From the initial like settings from when you download it, I turned up the volume. Hell yeah! Let's see if just straight up re-downloading the entire game will make a difference. The thing is, I have not I didn't own the game before this release. I didn't own the like original release. You know, with Steam making it like an updated version. So now if you buy the game, you can only get the Love All Parks edition now. Unlike before. So I have a fresh copy of this version, I guess, because I never owned the original. I don't know if that actually makes a difference, because technically it should be the same game files regardless, the ones that you can get from the Steam service now. All right, I mean, that's fine. You know what? It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday. I actually started a stream on time for once, so I'm just gonna wait this out. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Why are you having so much trouble trying to download? Not even a full 2 gigabytes. Hello. Thank you, Steam. Thank you. Let's try this again. Okay. Let's try this again. Chapter 1, Cabin Fever. No! That's still the same. Okay. That is highly unfortunate, actually. Yeah, I think so. Well, in the traceback text it says we're running game code file line somewhat whatever execute. It's definitely having a problem trying to play specific lines. I do not know why. Okay, that is highly unfortunate. Worry not. The good thing is, let me check. I am in the wrong folder. Okay, Yum, 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 yum. The funniest thing is, I had this work just fine on the pre-full release version. Let me see if that one's gonna work. Yeah. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna... Unless this one is gonna crash on me now as well, because then I'm gonna be very, very mad. Chapter 1, Cabin Fever.
Sorry, sweetie. It's stuck. Can't go any lower than that.
Okay, then. You know what? I don't know. I don't know what the problem is with my Steam version. So I'm simply going to play the pre-release build that I have access to because I can. There might obviously, because this is an older these are older files technically because this was the pre-release. There might be some typos in this version that have already been found with the full release, yada yada yada. We are not going to care about that. We are not going to care about that. What we are going to care about is me actually... Sorry. I did send the error in. Also, I'm going to... Before I forget, here we go. Mel, would you be so kind as to pin that? Thank you very much. For anyone else who's interested in getting the game, you can get it on itch, you can get it on Steam. Me personally, I am in favor of having them on Steam for the simple reason of, hey, it has achievements, but we don't care. We don't care that much. We care about actually supporting our indie games. So please get them wherever you please. I will have to look into why my Steam version is having these problems at my own time at some point. Maybe I can switch over to that one. Or maybe it's a problem because I have the game installed twice now. I don't know. Maybe it's something I myself fucked up. However, we are now simply going to enjoy the actual game and the voice acting. And I hope the voices have a good volume. Let's do that. Let us do that. Let me see. Just need to check one more thing. Change the font to the hyperlink should fix. What? Really? I think. Really? Wait. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. One more. Because technically, the funniest thing is, if I start up this one, I already have all of the extras and all of the things unlocked, and I'm like, 2 versions since the font was updated. Oh, damn it! Yeah, that could be probably somewhere in the depths of my computer because I have the other one. Really? So this one, hyperleech. Okay. If this one fixes it, then I owe you my life. By the way. So it's completely on me, probably, right? Because I had the other version installed for the longest time.
Sorry.
Are you for real?
Can't go any lower than that.
Thank you. I owe you my life now. Are you for real? Okay. Well. Maybe fix if you change it, but I mean, I don't mind. I am always in favor of a font that I can read more easily. Place it. Thank you. All right. After troubleshooting for like 20 minutes, we can now hopefully get into the game. Thank you.
Is that right?
I think I can turn the voices up slightly more still though. Yes. Oh, thank you, Akira, for the give this up. Let's see. Everything a little louder. Just a A tad louder. Did you know the National Park Service was founded on August 25th, 1960? I did not know, actually. Enjoy! Enjoy. Okay. I think this is good. Let's get into it. I click down on the switch. A sputtering rumble coughs from the window, vibrating beneath the rushing wind as it rips to the car. Click up on the switch. The window slides the rest of the way up with a smooth purr. I click down again. Smooth purr. It stops halfway. Sputtering rumble.
Yep. There's actually a funny story about that.
Yeah, I think that's good. Jessie laughs guiltily, waving it off with a shrug and a smile.
But I forgot what it was.
A funny story you forgot.
We smack a bump in the road. The car jolts up, tossing me into the door. I glance in the side mirror as we drive away from a pothole.
Every problem in this park has a story. And there's a lot of stories.
Oh, Eve, you are way quieter than your companion.
The park makes do with what it has, Eve. We're resourceful that way.
I roll my eyes as she gives a reassuring grin, but her reflection in the stupid broken window tells a different story. One of concern, rivers of coffee, and a decade of overwork. There might even be a small wrinkle encroaching on a cheerful round face, but I don't dare say anything. I'm quippy, but I don't have a death wish. Not yet. I wanted to look up how you actually pronounce that, because I don't know. I'm sorry. I have never been there. I probably never will be able. How do you say... I wanted to look it up and I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yosemite.
That's not how I would have said that, okay?
Yosemite.
Yosemite. Okay. Thank you. Yosemite. Yosemite, this time of year is a mixture of green and white. Where the winter snow still speckles the peaks of stone grey mountains and blends into spring's revived trees. I close my eyes and let the whistling wind blow into my face, and for a second I almost feel like the little girl again. Riding in the back of Dad's pickup truck, we zip down the roads of Tioga Pass, anxious to explore the next trail. Right as I remember the smell of the sweet, fresh air, a van speeds past us, leaving a trail of toxic fumes. The memory is ripped away. It does have content warnings, actually. That I did not look at. I mean, I have looked at the content warnings and have chosen to ignore them. No, it does. It does have content warnings. You should probably take a look at those. The luring exhaust resembles a similarly grey sky, and I have to wonder if a storm cloud forms, but it doesn't rain. Is it still filled with water, or is it just hollow? If I knew more about how clouds in general work, I probably could answer that, but I do not. Static crackles out of the radio.
Situation 1 has been resolved. Over.
Over. Jessie peels the mic off the dash, one hand on the wheel. She shifts to her supervisor voice.
10-4. Fill me in on the details.
The reports ended up being at 10:56. White male, early 50s. He was stumbling around when I got there. Stopped discharging his firearm as soon as he saw me pull up. Looked like he was shooting at some bottles.
Ooh. I scoff. Don't even try to hide it. Jessie shoots me a narrow look.
No altercation. But he didn't need to take a breathalyzer for me to know he was wasted. He's in custody now.
Oh. You can almost see the bags sketch themselves under Jessie's eyes as she heaves a deep sigh.
It's only paperwork. All right. Thanks, Ernie. I'll be pretty late, so you can have the yogurt in the fridge while filling out the report.
Yogurt!
Wait, you still with the porcupine?
My teeth grit against each other. My shoulders stiffen.
Tell him, girl, we already miss her moods. Hope those Tulumne campers have good dental.
I reach over and rip the mic from Jessie.
Shut your mouth, Hernandez, or else it's gonna be your fat ass who needs the extra dental work.
Jessie rushes the radio away from me as Ernie cackles over the radio.
Just have that report on my desk by tomorrow. Over.
Oh! I'm still trying to grab the radio by the time she throws it back on the dash. Groaning, I cross my arms and stare thousands of tiny daggers out the window.
Jeez. You know they're just trying to get a rise out of you. Why do you always take the bait?
Because it's fun. Because if they actually cared about their jobs, they'd be angry too.
Oh.
Not that it matters.
At this point, I'm not even sure I care anymore.
It's not everyone, Eve. There are people out there who still care.
Who? The campers? Because I can show you some rocks and trees that a certain artist thought made a good canvas.
Eve has a very quiet disposition from the few voice lines we've had so far. It's a very interesting. I swallow the urge to spit.
That kind of stuff doesn't get fixed overnight.
A shadow casts over Jesse's piercing glare.
Neither did his fractured jaw or your suspension.
Oh, we're suspended! I slump back into my seat. Feelings of shame or regret are completely absent. All that's there is a gnawing emptiness that always snakes up to my chest and lingers there. Jesse's face softens. The tender expression reminds me of pity.
What happened to you? You used to be such a cute cadet.
Life happened to me. And depression.
What? I'm not still cute?
I flutter my lashes and roll my eyes. Normally, backtalk like this would get anyone from any profession fired, and secretly, I hope it does.
It's that attitude of yours. I remember when you were energetic and determined.
She shoves me.
Be like that again.
They beat that out of me a while ago.
Jessie frowns for a moment, then she grips the wheel and strains a smile into her face. Her dimples look like tight drums.
Then let's see if we can cram some of that back in.
Hell yeah!
By a transfer?
By a change of pace. You'll love the meadows. It's a little chilly this time of year, but you can bundle up in the cabin.
Ooh.
Which you'll have all to yourself, by the way.
Ooh. I do have to admit, ever since I played Firewatch, something like actually, you know, being all alone up in a cabin and just looking out for the area around you, that kind of thing, it does sound interesting. I don't know how it would actually go, like having to live through it, but the idea of it sounds appealing. Same with lighthouse keeping, because I mean that is an actual profession, but I feel like that's not as active a thing anymore. I feel like most of that could be automated. And it's like, oh, someone checks up on the lighthouse like maybe once a year, see if everything's still in order, and you don't really care about those things anymore. But I feel like staying in a cabin and then, you know, being all on your own, it sounds cool. It comes with a risk of weirdos, but to be fair, like, fucking retail comes with a guarantee of weirdos. Not even a risk, but a guarantee. So at that point, I'm like, I think I prefer the cabin.
You can thank Ranger Smith's gin habit for that.
And the camping population?
Jessie bites her lip. Her eyes dart across the road.
Don't think you're clever. We used to visit Tuolumne every summer when I was a kid. I know they have a campground there.
You'd be alone with the weirdos. True. She relents with a sigh.
It's mostly hikers and mountain climbers right now, since the road's just opened. But I'm sure they'll come piling in as it warms up.
I have to admit, though, I'm not a camping fan. But that comes from the fact that I was forced as a child. Up to my early adulthood, I was forced to go camping. So it's not a fun activity to me, because there's nothing novel about it. It's just annoying. So I'm always I'm happy for people who find fun in camping, obviously, but to me it's just like, yeah, no, I'd rather be doing anything else.
I expect you to do your job.
Okay.
Great. More babysitting.
Remember what you signed up for.
Trust me, I do. Or I did before I realized the park was just the public's dumping ground.
That's why the National Park Service exists. We can't protect every square inch of land, but we can manage parts of it.
I scoff.
If only. For most of these people, the parks are just toll roads. They pay to get drunk for a few days. They'll sit around the campfire and talk about how much they connect with nature, and maybe even write poetry about it. And then they'll leave the fire smoldering, forget to pick up their trash, and leave.
Jessie cringes and audibly swallows. She stares at me with this uncomfortable gaze, like something ugly she can't look away from. And the truth is ugly, so fine, let her. She puts on another one of her smiles.
Well, that's why we're
here, right? That's our job. Enforcing the law to protect the land. But who are we protecting it for?
I stare at Jessie with flat eyes, waiting for an answer I know will never come. Likewise, she side-eyes me, waiting as the radio occasionally crackles with a report.
The same people who are destroying it.
I lean back into my seat and stare out the window.
And where's the justice in a job like that?
Sun pokes through an opening in the clouds, but a sea of grey swallows it soon after. Jessie says nothing. I hear a fist squeeze around the rubber grip of the steering wheel. A knuckle pops. Then silence. Ooh, yikes. We pass a clearing and the forest that's been trailing us up until now stops. In the distance, I spot the smooth stone peak of Lambert Dome. Sometimes we would make that hike when I was a kid, and when we reached the top, I always felt like I discovered a higher perspective. Everything seemed so small, and the answers seemed so clear. And I wonder, if I stood up there now, would it be the same? Is what I do important? Does protecting this land and preserving its dignity serve any purpose? And if not, does anything? By the time we begin passing families of pop-up tents and lawn chairs, the sky is dimmed to a deep grey. Slivers of blood orange and red glow out from pockets of open sky. We hook left and take a short beaten path. Tires crunch over the dirt and gravel, and stop. Jessie twists off the ignition. Birds chirp in a fresh silence that only breathes through the air when a vehicle stops.
We're here.
Ooh! I'm out of the car before she even finishes, dragging my luggage out from the back. Arching into a stretch, I take my first unobstructed look at the cabin. It's a modest building, guarded by a crowd of trees that extend far into the air, lumbering over the pointed roof. Nearly every inch of the cabin is built with the same sand downward. It's inoffensively smooth. Tree bark has more texture.
Not too small for you, is it?
Jessie walks up beside me, twirling the keys around her finger. I glance over my shoulder. The campground is hidden behind a thick row of trees. Small glimpses of tents poke out behind them.
Nah, it's perfect.
Perfect. The wood creaks under our boots as we climb up the steps.
There's another station nearby, but they mostly oversee boring bureaucratic stuff. They'll leave you alone, but you might have to hand out permits if they're ever out for lunch or something.
Do I have discretion?
Not a chance, sweetie.
She shoots me down with a song in her voice and a spring in her step.
Knowing you, you'd tell them to jump in the lake before ever letting them fish in it.
She's got me there. The musty smell of damp wood wafts into my nostrils as she opens the door.
Ooh, cozy.
Jessie flips on the lights and steps aside.
That's one word for it.
I mean, it looks nice. My face betrays my sarcasm though as a smile creeps over me. It reminds me of a shoebox diorama. All the space is utilized and everything is exactly where it should be, from the fluffed-up bed nestled in the corner to the fireplace built with rock. There's not even a TV, just a rocking chair and a lift-in leather couch that sits around the coffee table. Jessie slides her finger down a desk and squints as she rubs it against her thumb.
Huh, not as dusty as I thought it'd be.
Maybe Ranger Smith liked chugging Windex too.
I drop my bags and frisbee my hat at the couch. It misses and lands lopsided on the floor.
Not unless he snuck back recently.
Oh! The hardwood floor bends beneath my weight as I explore the rest of the cabin, wandering off to inspect the stone fireplace. An unburned log sits on a pile of ash. Cobwebs weave around the well-swept corners and polished floors if they were intentionally avoided. Space is clean, but whoever the neat freak is must not have any guts.
Hello, Humpy. Good evening.
A fuzzy spider trapezes from the ceiling. I look to make sure Jessie isn't looking, then give it a tiny wave as it pendulums in front of me. My voice drops to a whisper.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, you like spiders.
What was that?
Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing.
I'm good, how are you doing? With a quick swing, the spider leaps away from me, landing in the middle of a tree of paintings hung on the wall above the dining table. Arranged in a triangle, each painting showcases gorgeous landscapes and scenic vistas, the location scribbled in the corner. No artist's signature. Yosemite? Zion? Yellowstone? Maybe, hopefully. Do not come for my pronunciation, I'm so sorry. All national parks and all beautiful. The spider crawls along the painting of Zion. In this one, lush greenery sprawls out into a deep valley below, guarded on both sides by fiery red cliffs and mountains. The Yellowstone painting is of a winding trail spiraling to the top of a mountain. Splotches of vibrant trees are scattered across the rich mountainside. Beyond it, flat plains stretched out into the distance before dipping into a canyon. On your way home from the hospital? I hope you weren't in the hospital for something serious. Oh, you worked. Oh, God. Okay. Get home safely then. And finally, above them is Yosemite. I know exactly what this painting is of. You only need to take a few steps outside to see it. It's a breathtaking view from the top of Lambert Dome, overlooking all of Tulum Meadows, from the thick forest to the Tulum River that winds all the way to the snow-speckled peaks of the Sierra Mountains. Yeah, I imagine it's very tempting to say that and have people go, "Why, you were in the hospital? Why?" I fucked up there so many times before I could probably point out exactly where we are. God, I wish I was up there now. I would scream my guts out, scream until I was hoarse, and no one would hear me. This might be my favorite of the three, but something feels off about it. After a bit more squinting and head tilting, I decided this painting is too crooked for its own good. The frame is so off-center that if there were a hike in this painting, they'd plummet to their depths. With a soft grip, I grab the sides of the painting and begin to delicately, slowly, gently straighten. A sharp squeak rattles through the air, so loud I can feel it in the floorboards. Shivers crawl up my spine as I nearly leap out of my uniform.
Geez, so jumpy.
Giggling, Jessie squeezes past the dining table and rests against the counter.
It's just the cabin settling. This place is old, so it's gonna be a little noisy.
Her voice drops an octave. All that's missing is a flashlight below her face.
Kind of spooky, huh?
I don't know if I want a spooky cabin if I'm gonna be here all by myself. Also, I wonder if Eve is just really small, or if Jessie and her hat is making her seem taller than she is.
Not really.
I don't know. Cabin squeaks again and my shoulders tense. Jessie grins, thoroughly entertained.
Some of the
Why
fast
not
rangers
both?
stationed here always said it was haunted. Personally, I think it was just something in the coffee.
The size of two saws. Okay, both then. Hi, Ram. Good evening. She picks up the. I'm sorry. The what now? Oh, you know what? You know what's really good? We're back to reading a visual novel, and I immediately have no idea what the hell is that? What's a percolator? And also, why is Google trying to translate it to Chinese for me? A coffee machine, really? I have never before in my life heard this word used for a coffee machine. A specific kind of coffee machine. Oh. You're right. I didn't ping correctly. Thank you. Percolator? Okay, yeah. Okay,
Hell yeah. National Park Girls, yes, that's what we're doing.
Okay, she picks up the percolator off the stove and rattles it around. Flipping open the lid, she pulls out a small bottle of bottom shelf gin.
Our tax dollars at work.
Hell yeah.
Just be happy we're not privatized yet. Make sure to recycle this later.
I love recycling.
You know what I love even more than recycling, actually? That we here in Germany have the concept of Pfand. So people are more inclined to bring back all of their bottles because you pay a little more when you buy them and then you get that money back when you bring them. Yes! Don't call me out, Artie! It's a good concept. It's good. It's a good thing to have. Also, hi, welcome back, Tracy. No worries at all. I'm glad you're here. The biggest yes. Yes. See, no, because I hounded Artie and Akato both during Dokumi last year to keep all of the bottles they had. And I was the one who took them all home with me, you know, because I am the only one who could get some use out of the fund. I don't remember how much money I got back, but it was quite a lot of money for all of the bottles from just that one weekend. It was worth it. Kato almost threw away the first, can of the weekend, and I was like, what are you doing with a can? Why are you taking a can with you? But to throw it away? What do you mean throw it away? There's fun on it! Keep staying in my car, and I'm going to cash it in. More places, more countries should make use of that. Blind playthrough or reread? Oh no, this is a blind. I have not played National Park Girls before. I have not played the original National Park Girls, so... edition, so I'm playing this one for the first time.
Dokumi, yeah.
Anyway, recycling. Recycling is also very good. Fund is even better. Where? Oh no, that is not the button I wanted to press. I would like to. Hello. What did I press? Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah.
Me too. I'm also very much looking forward to it. You did! I know. I know. I didn't know you two met up. That's cool. Yeah. Age 4. Hiding, maybe. She hands me the bottle and tampers off towards a cabinet. I set it back down on the counter and follow behind.
Question. When was the last time you were at the range?
Last week?
To shoot? God, I don't know.
Scratching my head, I think back to the last time I unholstered my sidearm. Despite the faint temptation from being surrounded by obnoxious campers, it's about as rare as an eclipse.
About a year ago,
Ooh.
I guess, when you dragged us all down there on our day off to practice.
On our off day. Well, spontaneous meeting. She unlocks the cabinet, leaving the key in as she opens the door. A slender gun leans against the back.
An off day for you guys, maybe. I'd kill to just have one weekend off.
I don't think you should be saying that when there's a gun right behind you.
The words slip out of her, and as soon as they do, she glances at me, then the gun.
I didn't mean, like... You know I won't...
Thoughts on Eve so far? Small. And full of anger, apparently. I like her, though, so far. Yeah, very much. I stare straight through her as she fumbles around with her words. She coughs.
Anyway, what we have here is your standard issue pump-action Remington 870.
If I knew more about guns, maybe that would mean something to me, but okay.
Also known as a shotgun.
A shotgun!
You're not fond of her hair? Why? To be fair, she does have the dad anime mom hair style right now, so for protagonist, that doesn't bode well. A bright sheen glistens off the gun, both the butt and the pump sharing the same glossy wooden finish. What's an American would call it a Glock? What? I thought a Glock was like a handgun. A shotgun? You'd call a shotgun a Glock? Really? Glock is it? Oh. Yeah, no, I always imagined a Glock being a shotgun. So every gun is a Glock? Well, okay, no, we Tracy, I'm sorry. I think you're in the minority here. With three people saying a Glock should be some kind of pistol, a handgun, I think I think it might be. A shotgun. Ooh, so we have a sidearm we actually authorized to use? And a shotgun. A nice Glock, bro. I'm not sure that's what you said. It wasn't Twitter. Yeah, fair. Alright. Okay, we have 2 guns at our disposal.
Fancy. This actually doesn't look like it'll fall apart in my hands.
No. I drove to the desk radio that was shortly used by Never code breakers in World War II.
Count on the DOI to have their priorities straight. When have I ever turned down new equipment?
Judging by the bad rumor she's giving the gun, I think the answer's pretty clear.
Still, this is a bit excessive. I don't need this much heat for grunt work.
A sidearm and a shotgun? What is this, the 4th of July? Oof. I feel like I'm decidedly not American enough for this game.
It's just a precaution. Hopefully you never have to use it. It's not like everyone is asking you to carry it around on patrol, which I expect you to do every day.
Can I do that before sunrise? So I don't have to talk to anyone, ever?
Absolutely not.
I'm combing my memories if I've ever actually seen like a shotgun in real life. Like actual real life and not just in any TV series or whatever, because I'm just like, no, I don't think that's something you come across usually.
I will not allow you to be a weird forest hermit under my watch. You need to have some positive experiences, okay?
Well, are you my therapist? See, the whole concept about visiting, Walmart. To my humble European mind, Walmart is a grocery store. I understand that you can get many things at a grocery store. But the fact that you can just go into what is a grocery store and get a gun? That's crazy. That is crazy to me. I don't think I will ever fully comprehend that unless I see it in real life. Guns in national parks! I'm not sure anyways go. Yeah. Police would often stop by every night and want to look at the ammo. Wow. Some elastic rifles. Do they also like can you get guns and ammunition in the same place? Do they store them separately? Or is it just like you go up to the counter and you're like, oh, I want one of those and one of those, and then like the 500 pack of whatever, and they just like grab it? Is any of that kept safe? Like in a safe that you can lock, if people wanted to steal them? But different cases, but the same shelf. We had the key. Okay. I'm not gonna go into my feelings about gun laws existing or non-existing, actually. It's a glass door covered case which you can get. Oh. Stop! No, Rue, stop telling me that. I don't want to know. I do not want to know. That is crazy. What do you mean? Here, if you can own a gun, but then you have a cat meow at you if you own a gun. Do you know? to even own a gun, you need specific permits, and also you cannot keep the gun and ammunition for it in the same space. You can also not keep the gun openly accessible. Hello? It needs to be in a separate safe, lockable, and everything. Even if you are to transport it to a different place, you need it to be in two separate lockable things. That kind of thing. So it's crazy to me. You walk into Walmart, you buy a gun, or 2, or 3, whatever, and ammunition.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it sells water guns? Okay, that's nice. Get to the back of the show, what the hell? Meow was so loud. Yeah, he's becoming louder and louder the more time passes, actually. Hey! He's now also trying to throw stuff off my shelf. Hold on, 1 second. So sorry. We'll get back to the game. Was machst du da? Hello? Ja.
He's a crybaby, that's what he is.
Thank you for the binary. That's a cat moment for real, though. I love him. But also every time I stream, it's like, oh, what? No, I need your attention right now. Yeah, well, oh my god. Oh, we might actually reach the 5,000 tonight. Will you look at that? We're playing playing some gay girl games, and we are gonna get the 5,000 pets, maybe. Also, Mel, no worries. I hope, no worries. Okay, we're not allowed to be a weird forest hermit, but we are allowed to have 2 gods. Thank you for the fans. My mind blanks out into a field of static as Jesse's tangent gains more momentum. As my thoughts wander, I start to hear more noises. Yeah, what? Bong? No? I don't know what you mean. The creaking of the cabin. The howling of the wind. Then actual howling. Wait, actual howling? If Jessie heard it, then she's ignoring it, as her ranting continues to go places entirely unrelated to my misanthropy. Scratchy begins to scuff at the door. At first it's as soft as a whisper and could maybe even be a branch or leaves. But the longer it goes on, the faster it gets, and soon it's desperately clawing into the wood. I break away from Jessie, tiptoeing to the door.
Hey, don't walk away. I'm scalding. Shh.
I hush her with a finger to my lips. We are silent. Twisting the cold knob, I ease open the door. Nothing. A yelp squeaks out below me. I look down and come face to face with the love of my life! An adorable puppy, its floppy ears barely reaching my ankles, pants in front of me, small paws scratching my boots. It's me!
Look at that!
I'm in the exactly right place.
It's me. I'm at the door. Let me in. I promise I'm not going to steal any of your candy.
Oh my god, buddy.
I drop to one knee. My heart melts as I stroke its soft fox red fur.
What are you doing here, pup? Huh? Are you lost?
Oh, we like dogs.
As if answering me, he gives a tiny howl, but it breaks into a yelp. With a whine, he snuggles into my knee. I'm dead. This is heaven, and I'm dead.
Eve, get away from that.
I knew it. I knew it. Artie is still furthering the vampire agenda. It's a new year. Same old vampire agenda. Sprinting from across the room, Jessie charges at the door. I do my best matador impression and dive out of the way. Jessie stomps on the floor, her boot inching closer to Pub with every loud thud.
Shoo! Shoo! Get out of here! Get!
No!
What? Pub yaps back, bravely challenging it, but whenever that giant merciless boot lunges forward, his compact frame lunges back. Fight continues onto the porch. With one last growl of defiance, Pub scampers off into the bushes. His ears poke above the leaves as he stalks us from the brush.
What the hell? He wasn't doing anything. You scared him.
Good. Maybe it'll stay away then.
What? I'm glad Jessie likes she's the devil incarnate, because she is.
Don't give me that look.
I reinforce my gaze with more steel.
Orphaned coyote pup. Started coming around the camp, and Smith, in his infinite wisdom, decided to feed it.
And now it's attached to the cabin. Uh-oh.
I glance towards the bush again, but by now he's gone, hiding somewhere in the shadows as the sky darkens. I'll need to set out a dish for him later.
Don't.
Don't. Stop reading my thoughts.
Jessie scolds me with a single whack of her finger. Did she read my mind?
I didn't say anything.
But you thought it. And if you have any sense, you'll...
She pauses, glancing up as the last glimpse of sunlight is snuffed out.
I'll lecture you another day. But for now, I have to get back to the station. Before Hernandez eats all the yogurt.
Yogurt.
With a nudge from my elbow, she starts for the trunk.
Yeah. Kick his ass for me.
I stare down at the scuff marks on my boots, struck with dirt and dust from all 1,200 miles of the park. Not nearly as polished or shine as Jessie, so even I can.
What's wrong? I thought you loved dirty jokes.
It's nothing. I'm fine.
In the far reaches, behind the cover of the trees, I see the orange glow of a campfire. The muffled chatter and laughter of the campus carries from across the woods. A tender smile spreads across Jessie's face. She sweeps me under her arm and into a hug. I think of breaking away, but her gentle warmth is nice, and it's kind of cold out.
You're going to do fine, sweetie.
Thank you.
Yeah, until I bust open the next guy.
I was about to say, positive reaffirmation ASMR featuring Jessie. I rest my forehead against her badge, the edges stick into my skin.
Hey, don't think like that. I didn't vouch for you because I thought you make the same mistake twice. You're a good ranger, Eve. If more of us were like you and cared more about what's around us and less about our pensions, then the Force would be better off.
That's very nice to say, actually.
This will be good for you. If you can straighten yourself out here, then you can do anything. So try to have some fun, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I feel like I'm infinitely more motivated than Eve is at any given point right now. But also, I obviously don't know the full backstory aside from her apparently being basically shipped off towards this singular cabin somewhere out there because she fought? Physically? Fought? Some guy? I grumble it out. She has too much faith in me. Maybe all of that was true at some point, but now I can take or leave the pension and the land. None of it matters. Not to the wigs at the top, not to the public, and not to me. Jessie swings an arm around my shoulder and walks us to the trunk.
And besides, I'm just a radio call away if you ever miss me. I'll call every day to check in.
Ooh, that's often.
Yay. Can't wait.
Yay. She climbs into the truck and starts it up. The revving of the engine is so loud I expect it to shake off all the rust that's carved itself into the bumper.
No slacking off now.
She drops the keys in my hand and shuts the door. The headlights streak in the night air, beaming against the silhouette of the cabin. The window rolls down, all the way down. With a confident smirk, Jessie tips the brim of her hat.
And Eve, you're wrong.
About? Oh! It might actually have been pointed if... What? Pointed? What? It might actually have been pointed if that was the last thing she said before leaving. But it hadn't even been 10 minutes when she drove back and barged through the door in a panic. She left the key to the station on the lanyard she gave me. And the key to the library. And the key to the toll booth for the south entrance. I swear, Teddy, with how seriously that woman takes her work, she has no right to be as airy as she is. Though I guess I'd start to slip a little too if I were working on an endless stream of hours and got as little acknowledgement as she does. After 4 years, it's hard not to respect her. There's not a moment where she isn't on a call, or filling in for someone, or blazing through reports. Yet somehow she manages to stay as bubbly as dish soap. How is she able to stay so peppy and motivated? I can't figure it out, and I doubt I ever will. Anyway, that's enough about Jessie. I swear I write about her at least twice a week. Let's talk about my newly assigned post, Teddy. The cabin itself was fine. Definitely more my pace than where I was before. The furniture is old and cheap and perfect. I'm looking forward to the last bit of rain for the season, so I can feel the warmth of the fireplace and listen to the raindrops patter against the roof as I doze off on that lumpy couch. If she was grounded, she wouldn't be able to go anywhere. If it weren't for the circumstances, it might even be a dream come true. But in the end, I know why I'm really here. And deep down, regardless of her comforting words, Jessie knows why I'm here too. Teddy, the fact of the matter is this. I'm here because I snarked off one too many times, cracked one too many jaws. I can't choke back the last speck of pride about what it is I do, and that makes me a problem. No matter how hard I try, I can't detach myself. Not completely. There's still a small spark, and all I want is to snuff it out. You knew that'd be good for something? Ooh, I love blankie mode. Hell yeah, get comfy. And that's why I'm here, for penance and training. Call it what you will, a new post, a live-in job, but I know what it really is. Purgatory. My pen hovers above the page, inches from carving my thoughts into stone. Once that happens, they can't be taken back. It's a scary thought. Sighing, I drop the pen and reach for my mug, but instead of the lukewarm coffee I've come to tolerate, all that's left is a brown ring crusted around the bottom. I stretch out of the chair and let out my longest yawn in at least 20 minutes, maybe even 30. Don't do that! I drag my carcass to the stove and pour myself the last of the coffee from the percolator. Steam rises from the mug. The coffee is thick and sludges around like motor oil. Overcooked and bitter, it almost tastes like it too. But I'm not a snob, and coffee's still coffee, even if a gas station could whip up a better brew, and a percolator works as well as anything else. Besides, there's charm in that, isn't there? Enjoying things that are inferior and outdated. I don't know, Eve. I don't like coffee, any kind. Whatsoever. So, I'm really not one to go, oh well, even if it tastes like motor oil and looks like it, I don't like coffee. I'm forced to stare at my reflection as I sip the coffee, but it soon turns into a foggy murk and I can't see anything. It's all that oil seeping to the surface. A gross thought, but it doesn't matter as long as it gives me the energy to keep going. Journaling is hard work, maybe even harder than working for the Park Service. Journaling is actually a lot of fun, and sometimes honestly, it's very rewarding to just read back on older entries. Like, especially when you have an entry where you were not in a good mood and you wrote everything down and stuff, and then you read it back like months later and you're in a good mood and you're like, life wasn't even as bad as I made it out to be at that point. That's what I'm always hoping for whenever I have entries where I'm like, oh god, today sucked, today was horrible and nothing will ever get better, and then 3 months later I look at the same entry and I'm like, what was I even talking about? Yawns are very contagious, for me specifically. Also, I have to yawn all the time. Assuming you can decipher your handwriting, very true. Very true. I do try to make an effort to write neater when I journal, because it's like, at some point I'm like, what was I saying? Do me into the next one's like, I feel great. I don't know what happened. Yes! Actually, like yesterday, I came home and everything was so bad. I'm not joking, everything was so bad. I was like, oh my god, and I have to go to work, and I had full-on anxiety, stomach ache, and whatever, and this morning, and I got to work and it was like, it was okay. It was fine. The day passed. I came home early and I was like, you know what? It's not even that bad. It's not even that bad. I'm doing fine. I'm playing a fun game right now. It's all good. You have pretty handwriting, but you write so slowly. That's okay though. I have very small handwriting. People are always like, oh, how can you write so small? I need glasses. Okay. Me too. A Originally, it was just a way to get out all the energy that was bubbling around inside of me. Hopes for the future, dreams of making the park experience even better. But that eagerness morphed into a slow realization, and over time that morphed into whatever I am now. Journaling became time for sharp, focused reflection. It's a good way to cope. Some people drink, some people get high. I complain about everything to a notebook. By now I at least have a dozen of them filled out. Teddy volumes 1 to 12. I like to think they all share the same consciousness. The cup warms my hand as I lean against the counter. The wind kicks the cabin, and if I listen closely, I can hear night's nocturnal whispers from outside. Chirping from crickets, the steady shaking of leaves. It makes me realize just how thin of a barrier from the outside world this place is. A cramped, fenced-in box. The only thing keeping me from the same darkness that's out there is a few dim lamps. A small choir of laughter and chatter echoes from outside. Reality decides to give me a slap in the face as I open the curtains and peer through the window. Oh boy. Thank you for the pasta check. And the hydro time, actually. Treating beloved items as if they were alive. I mean, that's fair. Very old Noah will wish you wrote bigger. I've always had small handwriting though. It's been like that always. I've had teachers say, oh god, every time I need to read something that you turned in, I have to put on my glasses or get what. One of them was like, oh, I always have to put on my glasses, like specifically glasses, not even what are the ones that make stuff look bigger? I don't know the English word. But this one teacher, I was always like, oh, I need to put on my glasses, and I just looked at him like, yeah, well, do that then. Magnifying glass, loops, yeah, loop it, yeah. Magnifying glasses. No, I meant a magnifying glass, actually. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I have to do the same. I'm wearing glasses right now. I can't see otherwise. Just assume it is correct. True. You assume I was right. One time I didn't do my homework for German class. And the teacher usually went through the rows to just have a quick look if you had written anything down. So I wrote down like 2 sentences, and then I just wrote a bunch of squigglies for a few rows, and then like the last sentence to finish it. And then when she came by, she started reading, and I was like, okay, and here's the other side. And she read the last sentence, and she just accepted it. So either she didn't notice that half of it was just squigglies, or she was like, you know what, whatever. Because I can't believe that worked. I would do it again in a heartbeat, but still, I can't believe it worked. The squiggly trolley. It's like, okay. I'll take it. A group of 4 shadowy figures trip and wobble through the brush. One of them falls flat on her face. They laugh even harder than before. And speaking of needing a barrier from the outside world, I stumble over to the desk and snatch the flashlight. As I march over to the door, I remember that I've changed out of my uniform into tattered jeans and a flannel. Hardly authoritarian. I reach over to the couch and grab my hat. Better. The brisk air kisses me as I swing open and switch on the flashlight. I shine a beam right in their faces. They freeze like deer about to be mowed down by an oncoming semi. Their laughter quiets into a hushed chuckles, and the only one with half a brain tells them to shut up. One of them stashes a bottle in their coat. The one up front, the smart one, squints at me through the light. His shoulders relax and he throws me a casual wave.
Oh hey, are you on break too? Wanna hang?
No, brother, I am working. Wait, a bunch of random numbers and erase them, read them over and erase again to me. Oh my god. One time, I think also during math class, we had like a workbook and also the answer key to it. And the teachers would not accept if we only had the answers because we had access to the answer key. We needed to have like written down how we got to the answer. Which is all fine and well, but sometimes when you wanted to check if what you had done was correct, the answer key would not help you because it only had the literal answer and not how to get there. So every time I had like a completely different answer from the answer key, I was just like, okay, well, where did I go wrong? I'm not a fan of math. Never have.
A pink pen and little hearts to replace the dots. Ooh, fuck yeah.
I stopped using an actual pen with ink as soon as I was allowed to. Actually, I'm only using... God, wait, what do you call those? A ballpoint? Ballpoint pens? Because, you know, I would always smudge. Whatever ink I had, and no matter how small the nib was with my tiny handwriting, I would always smudge it, and it wouldn't look nice anymore. 1,000 more of these kids could mistake me for another student their age, and it still wouldn't stop me from lobotomizing them with my eyes. I slip on my head and stay silent. The Old Testament fear of the Abrahamic God shadows his face. They all shrink back.
Do you know how many people go missing out here?
Ooh.
What?
I said, do you know how many people disappear in these parts annually?
He looks to his friends for an answer. They shake their heads. He looks back to me and shakes his head. The entire group shakes their heads together.
I'm sorry. I don't...
His hands are raised in surrender, the embers of a cigarette glowing between his fingers.
Another question.
Oh boy.
Yes, ma'am!
Our voices bounce across the woods.
Do you know how much paperwork I have to do if one of you has so much steps on a pine cone?
Is it... a lot?
His friends nod. He nods back.
Yeah, a lot, right?
Let's just say it's more work than you've probably turned in this entire semester.
Ooh. Oh, yikes.
With no retask on it, it's we need. Okay. Good for them, good for them. I get a laugh from one of his buddies. He shuts up as soon as I shine a light on him.
Do me a favor and stumble back to camp, okay? I'd rather not have to explain to my supervisor how you all fell off a cliff.
The two girls hidden behind the others give me dirty looks, the kind idiots give to fast food workers when they're told that they're out of fries. I turn the flashlight up to the highest setting. They all let out a collective groan as they shield their eyes.
Go on, you heard me. You can bum around all you want once the sun comes up.
I point the light of the path back and brighten the way. He takes a few steps back and gives me a gracious nod.
Sure thing. Sorry for the trouble. Have a good night.
I won't, but thanks.
They follow the beam of light back to the path. One of them makes sure to flip me off along the way. I switch off the light as they disappear into the brush of trees. Hey!
Hi, Zen. Good evening. How are you?
I mean... Why would you flip... She was nice about it, come on. She was still nice about it. I hope they all actually do fall off a cliff. Twerps. As I turn to go inside, a speck of movement rustles in the bushes. My body goes numb. I freeze, only allowing my eyes to drift over to the source. Nothing. Turning around, I creep forward, reaching for a sidearm that isn't there. I step onto the dirt, the porch creaking behind me. Then the bush shakes with a surge of movement. A ball of fur explodes through the leaves. Its paws scrape across the ground before skidding to a stop at my feet.
Ah, I get it though. That is so very cute. But you're coyote.
It's your desire not to work, but also money's. Oh, big mood. Big mood. We are out here. Breathing out a sigh of relief, I bend over to greet my prince.
Decided to come back, huh?
My
That's
prince?
my charm.
Oh, you love animals more than you like humans, huh? His ears pin back as I scratch the scruff of his neck. He almost looks deranged while I pat, his goofy-looking pupils struggling to center with the whites of his eyes.
You're an unbelievably giant torque.
And he flips over. If my heart had strings, you could play the fiddle.
This isn't fair. I might seriously die.
I glance over at the empty food dish near the door. He ate every bite. He has to be sleepy by now. Just look at that belly. It's so round and cute and pink, and I'm going to die from this, I just know I am. It doesn't take much to coax him in. All I have to do is stand aside and Pup sprints inside on his own, hitting every piece of furniture like a pinball.
I usually offer coffee first.
He nearly somersaults across the floor, and my dusty laugh actually gets some use for once. A gust of chilling wind breezes past me. It lifts up my hat, but I grip the back in time. Strands of my hair fly in the same direction. The trees sway violently, shaking their branches like angry fists. Clouds curtain the last sliver of the moon, submerging the woods in a darkness deeper than any sleep. Cold seeps into the notches of my spine. Shuddering, I rub the warmth back into me, locking the door on the way inside. Like thunder, Pup runs up to me as I enter. Then, like lightning, he bolts back onto the couch.
Hi, Raiders, welcome in! Good evening! Hi, Type, how are you doing? I'm new, I like the color pink. Vision of us and JRPGs. We're currently playing National Park Girls for the first time. Hi, how are you? How was stream? Also Pikachu for the Raiders, of course. Pikachu. Pika. Pikachu. Welcome.
It's making you realize you don't write enough environmental details in my... Oh, fair. I feel like it's one of those things because you know exactly what something looks like while you're writing it. You might forget about it. We had the same kind of thing in 6th grade. We once had to write down a recipe and how to, prepare the same recipe. And we were graded on it, and the grading went like this. Our teacher actually picked all of those recipes and tried to make the stuff according to the recipes, and obviously a bunch of it failed. Because there were just steps we forgot to write about. Because it was just stuff like, you making it, you know what to do, and then you forget about actually explaining some stuff. So one thing was with bananas, I think, and the recipe or the preparation didn't call for actually peeling the bananas, because it's like, oh, you just kind of assumed that that kind of happens, right? No, but the teacher specifically wanted us to write down every single step, but it didn't say peel the bananas. So she just put, she cut it into pieces, but she just put the banana with the peels in there, and I was like, yeah, that didn't turn out. Yeah, she did. So that's how we learned to, take care to write down details that might be obvious. Do it a banana bread with or without the pull. Stream was good. I'm glad to hear that. She slapped peanut and butter on top of the pack of bread. Oh yeah. It's one of those exercises where I feel like, in hindsight, it's obvious. In hindsight, it feels so obvious, right? But then again, it's like, oh, yeah. Water with or without... What? What do you mean, water with or without... Huh? Why do you have pulp in your water? Hello? 911, what's your emergency? I grab a pillow from the bed, then meet Pup at the couch. His front legs stay perched on the back of the couch as he peers over it.
Oh, no you don't.
I snatch him up by the fat of his neck. He nips at my wrist, but it tickles more than anything. I drop the pillow, then drop Pup on top of it. I'm gonna read that wrong every other time now. Now I have the word pulp in my head. Cook the rice on the side and I assume it's easy enough. I am the type of person, I will be upset actually, because I'm also, I don't cook very often. But what makes me upset is when a recipe is like, oh yeah, I don't know, boil the water. Or like, cook the noodles. I'm like, okay, how do you want me to cook the noodles? How long do I have to have the water on the heat, when it boils? And it's always like, oh, until it's bubbling. Bubbling how much? How many bubbles? How do I know? I am the type of person where I'm like, I don't understand what you mean. It's like, oh, you will know. No, I clearly will not know. I do not have the experience to know just from looking at it. How long? How bubbly? How clear do you want on it?
Oh, you will know until it smells good. What do you mean smells good?
How do I know? What? I hate that. Tim went to boil 2 cups of water, but then the glass explodes. Shade of frying pan beneath on you. I don't know. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. That's exactly how I feel as well. At first he tries to wriggle free, but I keep the pressure on his back. He eventually gets the message and lies down.
I'll get you something more comfortable soon.
I don't think Jessie's gonna be very happy if she finds out that we are letting this coyote in here, but okay. What doesn't... You know, if she doesn't know, she... My leg brushes against the coffee table as I get up. A stray magazine catches my attention.
Jeez, Jessie, did you leave this too?
She doesn't have to know. Right.
Closing my eyes. I don't see. I don't hear. I won't say. A bag of lemongrass tea sits between the pages, acting as a bookmark. Did she not have anything else she could use at the time, or was she just lazy? The cabin creaks with the blowing of the wind. Pop's ears stiffen in alert as he quietly gazes at the closet door. I look down at the magazine. A map of the park is paired with the article. Every exit to the park is circled in red. Oh? Oh! Wrapping up your stay, leaving Yosemite. Yosemite. What? Brain, please. Let's try that one more time. Yosemite. Okay, no, I can do this. By the end of this game, I will have learned. The night breezes right past me. Every time I look up, the clock is past another hour, and the gap only grows larger. In the corner, Pup gnaws at his ankle. His teeth chatter as he tries to chew the fleas off his skin. I flip through the thick I mean, I've heard of Yosemite National Park before, but I've never known how to actually say it. It's one of those things, actually. It's the same with Arkansas. If it weren't for that iconic vine, I would have said Arkansas. You know, Kansas, Arkansas. It's not. It's Arkansas. If it weren't for that iconic vine, I wouldn't have known. That kind of thing. So much for not needing to read out loud. Yeah, no. I mean, that's fine. I do love me some reading. I sometimes pretend I can actually read. Clearly it's working. Not? Kansas. I flip through the thick stack of pages I've written on tonight and weigh them between my fingers. Not a bad way to break in a new journal. The soothing smell of fresh primer puffs out of me as I fold it shut. A yawn slips out of me as I shamble over to the bookcase. Now! I'm yawning. Light reading before bed is never a bad way to end the night, especially eerie nights like this. Frost has settled around the edges of the windows, a touch of fog strokes the glass, and looking into the darkness beyond it is like staring into the black of a pupil. Warmth and comfort flicker in my chest as I run my finger over the spines of every book. Assessing Yosemite, an atlas and guide. Best day hikes, Yosemite National Park. Corruption and National Park Services, Yosemite Mafia. Complete guide to Yosemite National Park. Okay. Game was like, you don't know how to say it yet? You will learn. You will learn. The gender-neutral form of EP girl disease? That's a good question. Almost every book, brochure, and magazine here trails back to Yosemite, other parks, or the National Park Service itself in one way or another. Even a few pieces of fiction can't escape it. Novels like The Yosemite or Yosemite Thunder. Yosemite. You diagnosed me, yeah. I do EP needy syndrome. I have a severe case of EP needy syndrome. That's a go. Yeah, that's a great one actually. We should make that a quote. Oh, that's a great one. EP needy syndrome. Looking over the alphabetically ordered books, I start to notice gaps, missing volumes, spaces between books, the kind you see at a library when something is checked out. Things only get more perplexing as I arrive at the bottom shelf. A giant cardboard box sits alone on the shelf, bursting with stacks of paper and folders. Balancing at the very top is a pink folder with bright bubble letters drawn in crayon. Miwok Research! Surrounding the letters are crudely drawn squirrels and toothy rabbits. Some are colored in with precise strokes, never straying an inch outside the lines. But others are so wildly scribbled in and trail so far outside the lines, I'm pretty sure an 80-year-old coming off a sugar high could do better. Hell yeah. As I reach down to grab it, a drawn-out squeak sings from the kitchen. The distinct sound of bending hinges sends my heart racing into my throat. That wasn't a cabin settling. Pup bares his teeth. A low, vibrating growl rumbles out of his tiny body. He sounds primal and large. Just like earlier, his ears point into the air. He stares at the corner, so I follow the direction of his snout. Closet. Just a skip away from it, the cupboard by the sink hangs open, still easing to a stop. The hardwood floor bends beneath my feet as I walk over. Suddenly, I lose traction. My feet slide out from under me as I slip towards the counter. Oh god! I yelp, my forehead almost colliding with the sharp corner of the counter. I reach my hand out and grasp it. The edge scrapes across my palm.
That was a little too close.
Oh. I give Pup a stern look, but he's still fixed on the closet door.
Did you do this?
For once, I hope the gross answer is the correct one. But looking ahead, a trail of water leads to the closet, and I start to think I'm not that lucky. Muffled clips of noise whisper from behind the door. Heavy breathing. Quick bursts of movement, then hushing. My mind flashes back to what Jesse said today. About this place. How past rangers thought it might be haunted. No, snap out of it, Eve. I don't think if it's a ghost, it should not be able to leave, like, wet water on the ground behind, you know, but who knows? I slap my cheeks and push the idea into the far reaches of my head. There's only one explanation for this. One of those campers from earlier snuck in here somehow and is just trying to give me a good scare. The ghost should leave dry water. I'm going to fucking... You're so lucky! You're so... You're a mod. You don't think, therefore I'm not. I actually do have a quote somewhere that says, I already thought today. Something along those lines, yeah. It goes with a blanket?
But why is it wet? Why is it wet?
Yeah, that's all it is, of course.
What did I tell you morons about sneaking around?
I project my voice, trying to muster up the same bravado my high school gym teacher always seemed to have.
You're trespassing on federal property. That's serious stuff. Come out now and I won't slap cuffs on you.
The noise stops. I count the seconds in my head, but nothing steps out of the closet.
Fine. Don't say I didn't warn you.
I stumble over to the door, making sure my steps are loud enough for whoever is on the other side to feel. Twisting a knob, I pull it open halfway. Two pale eyes blink at me, poking out from beneath their yellowing sheet. I slam the door shut. Oh crap, I didn't actually expect someone to be in there. A gasp as a bang rattles the closet door. Another bang, as loud as a gunshot. The door bends from the hinges. I stumble back. My foot slips down another puddle, but I brace my leg. Somehow I'm standing. There's a finally explosive bang. The door swings against the wall. Every light in the cabin zaps off. Electricity surges down around me. Then sudden darkness forces a scream out of me. I slap my hand over my mouth and swallow back the terror. Damn, they know where I am at now. I breathe in quick, panic bursts, then footsteps. Hello! And through the darkness, the form of a towering silhouette begins to take shape, looming in the doorway. Pup's growl devolves into a series of vicious barks. I stand my ground, puffing up my chest and sticking back my shoulders. Ghost, intruder, bear, whatever it is, it's all I can think to do.
What do you want?
Well, it looks decidedly humanoid to me. I call it to the lingering shadow. The shape of its head tilts as if asked something unexpected.
You do not belong here.
I work here. A voice rings out in the darkness, gravelly and dry, but also light. Higher than I would expect a demonic presence to sound. Not that I believe it's a demonic presence or anything.
This is my post. And according to my supervisor, I do.
We do not concern ourselves with the laws of mortals.
Who's we?
We?
A dim glow flickers from the closet, illuminating the figure in blood red. Water drips from their soaking hair and the bangs shadowing their eyes. They stand unnaturally straight, as stiff and dangly as a corpse. Colorful patterns weave around their leather clothes, beads wrap around their neck. A girl. The ghost in the sheet hovers past her, floating in the air. A shiver tingles down my spine as it levitates several feet in front of me. This has to be a prank. I'm getting punked. Jesse and Ernie are in on it.
Leave us to our resting place.
Oh!
Yeah, I'm pooped.
A high-pitched, energetic voice shouts out from the closet. The tall figure kicks back her leg. There's a yelp as the red light around her flickers for a moment, then reappears.
No!
Thunderous wind hammers against the cabin. A shout reverberates through the wood. A moan howls from the sheet ghost, muffled by the fabric. It's spooky in the same way a child making ghost noises on Halloween is.
As much as I'd love to, and believe me, I would, I can't do that. I'm already on thin ice.
Leave this place. I can't. I work here. They put me here. I cannot. I can't quit. The tall figure stutters, and while I can't see her eyes, I can make out a deep frown.
Are you trying to reason with a vengeful spirit? Do you have any idea how ridiculous that is?
Do you have any idea how ridiculous your request is?
That isn't my problem. Basic instinct prioritizes survival over income. You understand that, right? It's not complicated.
I thought you didn't care about mortal laws. Why do you care about my income?
Basic instincts get written over by basic training. Besides, it's not about the money. You're not a very perceptive spirit, are you?
Why are we arguing with the ghost? She shouts in a brooding, raspy voice, but it cracks apart and she breaks into a fit of coughs.
Just shut up, okay? Shut up!
The bravado in her voice is all but gone. The vengeful spirit is now merely a frustrated one.
If you stay here, then whatever happens is going to be your own fault.
Okay. The red light behind her flares up, tinting the walls with a blazing glow. Pop sparks return with killing intent. The sheet ghost lunges at me through the air. I spin around, diving for the gun cabinet. Come on, Jesse, come on. Please tell me you forgot to lock it. I pull the handle and the door opens with my momentum. Yes! I knew I could always count on you, Jesse. Remind me to take you out to dinner if I don't die here. The shotgun still leans against the back of the cabinet, undisturbed and untouched. I reach up and grab for it. The metal crushes my chest as I hoist it into position. Adrenaline pumps through me. I push down on the safety, wrap my finger around the trigger. Strands of hair stick to my face as I stare down the barrel. At my feet, the sheet ghost stares at me, now firmly on the ground. Directly in my sights. My trigger finger shakes. I shake. The temperature of my blood plummets and my body freezes with cold sobriety. This isn't what I wanted from this job. I never wanted to hurt people. To point guns at them or punch them in the face. All I wanted was to protect. The fabric draped over the ghost stretches back. Pup dances around its feet, his tail wagging as he tucks away the sheet like it's a game of tug-of-war. The sheet falls to the ground, and I finally get to see what, or rather who, is attached to those wiry bags. Like a burglar caught in the act, she stands there, wide-eyed and trembling. Leaves rustle off her tiny beige dress, but there always seems to be more stuck to her. Even her long brushed-out hair has twigs and leaves shaped into a wreath, resting on the top of her head. But more interesting than all of that are the pair of wings protruding from her back, feathery and white like an angel's in a painting.
A kid?
An angel? And a little one at that. I could scoop her up in both arms if I wanted to.
What on earth do you think you're doing?
The shadowy ghost stumbles across the floorboards, making a beeline directly for me. Panicked, I shift the gun to her, but she's already towering over me.
Not another step.
Her green eyes glare at me. In the intense anger, they almost seem to glow as she grips her hand around the shotgun. I close my eyes and let my voice tumble into a shriek.
Get away!
I pull the trigger once. Twice. Nothing. That can't be right. My eyes snap open just in time to see her wrestle the gun from me.
I thought they taught you goons better than to go around and point these things at people.
She moves to remove the bullets from the chamber, except there are none.
And if you do, then make sure they're loaded. Did they hire you out of pity?
Too trigger happy of a reaction? I glance back into the cabinet. A small box of shells sits discarded in a corner. Of course. I slump further onto my back. This is it. And that. Probably what I deserve. The little girl, paler than the sheets she was wearing, looks up at the bigger ghost. Her eyes swell with tears.
Yosemite!
She lets out a timid squeak and dashes behind her bigger friend. She wraps herself around her legs, content to stay only half hidden as she sniffles.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Aww.
Zion.
She brings the little one in closer and frowns, watching small tears trickle down her cheeks. From far away, she looked like a creature from a horror movie, unnatural blue hair with frosted white tips, her entire body drenched in a red glow. But after seeing her up close and watching the concern wash over her, she almost seems like a normal girl.
Except maybe the ears, you know, maybe the ears.
But who am I? Who am I to say that? Almost.
Zion? Yosemite? Just who are you people?
Her head twists back to me. My shoulders tense up. I scoot back, but there's nowhere else to go.
Silence, mortal. We have haunted these grounds long before you were here.
The red light from the closet fades away. The lamps surge back on, along with the rest of the power.
And we shall haunt them long after you've returned.
To the ground.
The ESA Yosemite is a new... distant cousin. Thank you for the follow, welcome in. She pauses. I blink at her. She blinks at me.
Yellowstone?
Yeah, boss?
The closet answers back.
Wanna tell me why the lights are back on?
Well, 'cause I flipped them back on, duh.
I can see that. But why?
I slowly reach for the gun. One chance to take it back, maybe even the shells too.
'Cause the jig's up. She's not buying it anymore.
Oh, hello! That's a lot of people on the screen! A teenage girl springs out of the closet. Her clothes are a colorful array of pastel, and her bright twin tails bounce up and down. She'd be the most normal-looking one out of all of them, if not for one distracting detail. Sprouting from the top of her head like a mountain erupting from the ground is a giant cone. Flattened at the top and various shades of brown, it reminds me of a volcano from a child's science project. Fair, that's a fair distinction to make, even though you cannot really see that on stream because, you know, she's on the far side of the screen. Is a costume. A head. It looks like it blends right into her hair.
See? She's already getting ready to flip your lid.
The bigger one glances back at me. In my confused daze, I completely forgot about my hand hovering over the gun. Rolling her eyes, she yanks it away and slides it to the other end of the room. She squats down. With a flat stare, she gives me a flick on the forehead. A dull pain ripples through my skull.
I know you're eager to take my home away from me again, but let me sort this out first. Okay, gunslinger?
I soothe my forehead while grinding my teeth into fine powder.
No, not okay. How about you try doing that again?
A slimy grin squirms across her face and she raises her hand again, thumb and finger ready. I brace for the next flick, but before I can come, Pop hops to my rescue and lunges at her ankle. She stumbles away in time, but Pop stands his ground in front of me, snarling.
Good boy.
What did I ever do to you? I give you belly rubs and everything.
She whines. Pop howls. I think I love this little girl a little more with every passing minute.
Zion, sweetie, can you keep the fluff ball at bay for me?
The little girl, who has since retreated to the kitchen with her other friend, gives a quick nod.
Okay.
With intense focus, she flaps her little wings and drifts across the room, patting her lap as she calls for Pop.
Hey, boy. Wanna
She puckers her lips to a whistle, but only air comes out. When she realizes that won't work, she clicks her tongue. Digging into her hair, she untangles a twig, then waves it around for all to see.
I grew a new stick for you. Please like it.
Would you like a stick? I just grew it myself.
Up's head snaps up. His snarl melts into a smiling pan as he dashes over, completely forgetting about his duty to protect me.
This was a disaster.
Tall girl pinches the bridge of her nose and sighs.
No small part thanks to your lack of commitment.
She turns to the one in the kitchen whose head is bobbing back and forth to a silent melody.
I was tired.
Tired.
She slumps over the counter and groans.
Oh, we've done this like 1,000,000 times. It's the pits.
We do it because it works. That last guy rarely stepped foot in here after we gave him a good scare.
So, they really did think it was haunted.
That's because it is. Now go away.
She's different. Dollface over there put up a fight.
Dollface?
I'd be annoyed if this weren't so confusing.
I don't like her.
You don't like nobody.
That's a double negative. She gives me a suspicious eye. The feeling is mutual. Conehead grabs the tea kettle from the stove and skips over to us.
That's kind of why I like her.
She flips open the kettle's lid and holds it up to her tall friend. The tall one wrings out her hair like a wet rag. Water, more than any sponge could retain, flows into the kettle. When she stops, the water's near the top and her hair is bone dry. What the hell?
Well, I'm glad you feel that way, even if it's incorrect.
They're still negatives, they don't cancel out. Oh, really? Fumes begin to wisp out from the opening at the top of Conehead. A red glow crackles beneath it. No, seriously? What the hell? Delicately, she balances the kettle on top of her head.
Lemongrass again?
You get some more.
I imagine the first time, like, writing was exchanged, or like, okay, we would like you to draw this character this and that way, and we would like a version of her sprite where she has a tea kettle on her hand. You know what? And they were like, yeah, all right, yeah. I wonder how often this happens to warrant a sprite. Even if it was a one-off thing, it's funny as hell.
Please, and don't sneak sugar in it this time.
It's like, oh, you have any special things you would want for any of the sprites? Yeah, make one with a tea kettle. Like in her hand? No, on her head. Steam begins to rise from the spout of the kettle, followed by a simmering whistle. The whistling gets louder and the arguing drags on. Pop barks as he rushes across the room to fetch the stick. The steam grows thicker, and as the noise builds and builds and builds, I feel my blood boiling in my veins. Any fear I had has been suppressed by the intense need for some peace and quiet, for some clarification, for something to actually make sense for once. I climb to my feet and draw in as much air as my lungs can take.
Will somebody give me some answers?
The chatter fizzles out. The winged girl shrinks back, hugging Pup closer to her chest. The kettle sounds like a train whistle. All eyes are on me. Assuming, you know what? Deal, it's in. Yeah! I wonder. I would love to know whose initial idea it specifically was to have a tea kettle sprite. Finally.
Now, will one of you tell me who exactly you people are? I've never heard of a ghost that can touch people, or one having wings, or whatever that thing on your head is. Are they costumes? What is your deal?
The leader of the three scoffs and turns away with folded arms.
Oh, is that all you wanted to know? I could tell you that much.
Hey, don't tell her our secrets.
Cool ya jets. I'm just gonna tell her who we are. But first, I want to know who she is.
She looks up at me with a big expectant grin. The other two stare, awaiting an answer to spring from the stiff silence.
My name is Eve. I'm a...
Ranger?
I work here.
Satisfied with my non-answer, she gives an affirming nod, the kettle bouncing on her head.
Howdy-o, Eve. Nice to meet ya. In case you didn't catch it, I'm Yellowstone.
Alright. She points to the wall with the paintings.
This Oath Angel is Zion. She's a cutie pie, and I love her lots.
Alright. Zion's pale cheeks turn red as she gives a little wave.
Love you lots, too.
Aww.
And then there's Yosemite. She's like our big sister. I love her lots, too, even when she's being a crab.
Yosemite says nothing. I glance at the paintings and pair each one with a girl.
So, are you each named after a park? Are they nicknames?
No, honey. They are the parks.
Yellowstone tilts her head and blinks.
No,
She points to herself.
I'm Yellowstone.
She backs away and rushes over to Zion, hugging her from behind.
This is Zion.
She runs back to Yosemite and smacks her back. I can practically feel the loud slaps as Yosemite nearly leaps out of her skin.
And this is Yosemite.
Yosemite. Somehow, the kettle stays balanced on top of Yellowstone's head throughout all of this. I try putting 2 and 2 together, but I keep ending up with 5.
So, what are you saying? You are the parks?
Yes.
Her face scrunches in thought. The steam evaporating seems like it could be coming from her brain itself. She looks to Yosemite for answers. Yosemite nods.
Sure, that works.
All right, I'm radioing my supervisor.
But why?
There's 3 strangers in here. There shouldn't be here.
Told you no one would understand. I don't know how you're pulling off these magic tricks, but trouble is trouble. And you 3 are definitely that.
Mm-hmm. I spin around and start for the desk. Panic warps Yellowstone's face as she switches between me and Yosemite. Kettle whistles above her until finally she decides to hand it off to Yosemite.
1 sec.
She snatches I can't talk. She snatches my wrist. The fumes from my head puff behind as I try to pull myself away.
Let go!
Do you just not believe us?
I don't believe you, I don't trust you, and most importantly, I don't want to deal with you.
My feet drag as I tug her behind me. Her grip is surprisingly firm. With each step, she squeezes harder until I can feel her fingers pressing into my bone.
What if I can prove it?
Don't bother. Just get your painting and the rest of your stuff. We need to go away for a while.
She ignores Yosemite and keeps pulling, digging her heels into the floor. Her grunts get more pain as she wraps another hand around my forearm.
Please! Just
Oh.
a chance!
Oh no, look at her big old eyes! Our conga line passes Zion and Pup. Pup's tail wags as he looks to her, waiting for scratches and pats. Zion looks up at me with her big, sorrowful eyes that only seem to get bluer as she gets sadder. Pup paws at her dress. His ears flop. A single heartstring inside me tingles. There's that fiddle again. I sigh, stopping before Yellowstone can yank my arm from its socket. I just love that puppy too much.
30 seconds.
Ooh. Yellowstone smirks. A twinkle sparkles in her eyes. Gripping my wrist tight as she turns to Yosemite.
Back in a jiffy.
Oh boy.
Back in a jiff.
She's so happy. She's like, hell yeah!
Wait! Yellowstone!
Static crackles through my vision. The ground gives way beneath me and I plummet down. Further and further, falling towards nothing. Hopeless dread washes over me like a smothering wave. And then, darkness. Howling wind blasts through my hair. I hear leaves rustle as the air whips past my cheek. My legs dangle below me. I look down. I wish I hadn't. Far below me, a thick forest sprouts from the jagged side of a mountain. Hundreds of feet of air between me and the bottom. Oh boy.
Hey, how's it hanging?
Hey! I look up to see Yellowstone peering over the cliff, still holding my arm. The moonlight spotlights her gigantic grin.
Oh, God! Cool view, right? Do you believe me now?
I flip my head in all directions, but all I see are far-off silhouettes of other hills and mountains, all of which look like anthills from up here. A scream finally breaks through, louder than I knew I had it in me. Higher too. It travels far into the distance.
Help, 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 pull me up!
Whoa, stop
Please don't!
Don't let go. Don't let go.
My body swings like a pendulum. I grab Yellowstone's hand tighter.
Aw, you don't like it?
No! No, take me back!
She whines, puffing her cheeks out as she pouts.
Jeez Louise, don't flip your wig.
I'm pulled upwards like I'm being sucked up by a vacuum. The wind tunnels around me. And then I'm back in the cabin. The warmth feels like a hug and my legs feel like jelly. I drop to my knees and catch my shallow breath. Yosemite paces around the room, stopping in her tracks as soon as she sees us.
You! Is your brain made of mush? What were you thinking?
Oh boy! Yellowstone sticks her arms out like the wings of a plane and spins around the room. Zion giggles as Yellowstone circles around her. Pup sits impatiently below them, his tail sweeping back and forth across the floor.
That I can make her believe, duh.
Oh my god.
I think it worked out pretty well.
Is she gonna keep doing this as long as I stay on this text box? Meow. Meow. Meow.
Does she look well to you?
She's zooming! My teeth chatter as I try to warm myself. I'm shaking. My entire body is shaking.
I was here, and then I wasn't, and now I'm... What the... Oh god.
The plane runs out of jet fuel and Yellowstone stops.
No, but I thought we could
3 a.m.
finally...
zoomies.
Listen to me.
Her voice is sharp and serious. Zion winces. She squats down and grips Yellowstone's shoulders, meeting her at eye level.
What if something happened? What if she got lost or hurt? What would you have done then? Or worse, what if something had happened to you? There's a reason I try to keep us hidden. You know what they're capable of, what they can do.
She mutters to herself.
Of course, that's all out the window now.
Cheerfulness leaking out of Yellowstone seems to have dried up. Yosemite's grip on her loosens and she shrinks away.
Guess I messed up pretty bad again, huh?
Yosemite just gives a deep sigh. It reminds me of a disappointed parent. Zion tugs at Yellowstone's hand.
I think you did a good job, Yellowstone.
Oh, thank you.
Yellowstone gazes down at her with a sad smile, then squeezes her hand back. A long yawn squeezes out of Zion, high enough that only the tail end of it is audible.
Looks like someone's sleepy.
Ippy.
She rubs her tired eyes and nods.
Mm-hmm.
Yosemite comes her fingers through Zion's fairy tale hair.
Get her ready for bed while the human and I negotiate.
Ippy syndrome.
Okie dokie.
That's the saddest okie dokie I've ever heard.
A baby.
I'll be right there to tuck you in. Might even tell you that story about the swallow you like so much.
Ooh. Ippy. Okie-dokie.
Swallow story? I don't remember that one.
For a moment, Yosemite freezes, then she shakes out a chuckle.
No, of course. Why would you?
Leading her by the hand, Yellowstone pulls Zion along to the bathroom. Pup trots along behind them. When the door shuts, Yosemite turns back to me. Her posture stiffens, perfectly straight and all business as she walks over to me.
You alive?
Yeah, somehow. She towers over me like a giant Where? I feel her footsteps vibrate beneath me as she gets closer. Oh, there we go! Thank you for the ID time and the 5,000 pet.
Just leave me alone!
Well, this is one hell of a first meeting. I crawled to the nearest corner and hunkered down using one of Zion's fallen branches as a shield.
Relax. I'm not actually going to eat you or whatever you think I planned on doing.
I hold a branch at her. It skims past her shoulder.
I don't care! Just go!
A lump catches in my throat. I look around at the mess that's been made. Streaks of water on the floor, the tossed away gun, and the open cabinets. I take a look at the whole cabin, small and homey, but I still know what it's really for. It's a purgatory. A sanitarium to clean me of any lingering pride. This is my punishment, and if that's the case, then maybe it's not actually purgatory. Maybe it's actually hell. I bring my hat to my knees and keep it there.
Hey, are you okay? I'm sorry about that stunt she pulled. Yellowstone always gets too excited for her own good.
Her voice softens, sounding more like she's talking to Zion than a foolish mortal.
Just leave. Please.
I swallow back the emotion, but my voice still cracks.
I just want today to end. I'm tired.
She swoops down in front of me.
Well, you're in luck, because I have a truce to propose.
Okay. I look up from my knees and sniff. Yosemites inches away from my face. She gives me a gentle grin.
I'm listening.
To get right down to it, we're exhausted too. It's been a long day for us, so how about we let you sleep here for the night, and then, in the morning, you can call your supervisor and send us on our way.
You think I'm dumb enough to fall for that? You'll murder me in my sleep.
Hey, yo!
In the time it would take to strangle you, I could read half of an entire book. Why waste my time with it? Besides, wouldn't you rather not have 3 trespassers wandering the park at night?
She's not wrong. I have the campground to think about too. If they started causing trouble with the campus, then this could spiral even further out of control.
Look, just take the olive branch. I'm trying to play nice.
I think about it for a moment. How I might wake up being smothered by a pillow. How I might not even wake up at all. Or, if I do, how they might not even be here at all. But it's dark and late, and my brain is slush and fog. So I humor her.
I'm not going to get a bullet to the face while sleeping, am I?
Only Neanderthals use guns. I think you're proof enough of that.
It's an insult. It's an insult, but she chuckles. It's not very funny to me. I think again.
And I get the bed?
The joking smile is stripped away. She sighs.
I guess there are sleeping bags around here we can use. So what do you say? Do we have a deal? Or is this night going to get even longer?
She extends her hand, and for the first time I notice her ears poking out from under her hair. Both are slant and pointed, with tips as sharp as daggers. I don't know who these people are, or even what they are, but I do know that I need some damn sleep. I grab her warm hand, and she hoists me onto my feet.
You've got yourself a deal, but you're out of here first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I don't think so. A warm wetness slops against my cheek. Human breath sticks to my face. I know what you are. It's a meme, but both people are thinking of something different, you know? My eyes crust open and drift to the edge of my bed. With his front paws perched on a comforter, Pop continues breathing in my face. His wild tongue dangles below his jaw. Yep. Actually, you know what would be a good idea? I should save some time. Haven't since we started.
It can't seriously be morning yet.
Well, it was a short night. He pushes himself off the bed and scampers away, sliding across the floor like it's an ice rink. Childish giggles fill the room, and the now familiar sound of wings flapping like an overworked engine follows. Zion huffs and puffs away around the corner. Pub runs behind her. I couldn't have slept for more than an hour. The nightstand clock seems to confirm this, as foggy memories of me glancing between it and the intruders tucked away in their sleeping bags come back to me. 3:30, 3:45, 4:20, 5, and finally 6:30. I feel like Goldilocks if she tried sleeping on the beds and the bears were hibernating in the corner, just testing her luck until she eventually gets mauled. I pee myself out of bed and draw shut the curtain that divides the room. When I'm done changing into my uniform, I slip back out and catch a whiff of something delicious.
Good morning, Miss Eve.
Good morning.
Zion stops playing with Pup to give me a courteous bow. Through the open window, a blue bird flutters in and rests on her shoulder. I already wish I was back in bed.
Rise and shine, Eve who works here. Catch all your Z's.
No! You have the kettle on your head again. Yellowstone peeks out from the kitchen, whisking a bowl in steady circles. Once again, a kettle rests on her head.
They must have slipped through my fingers.
Or out of your mouth. When you aren't shifting around, you sound like a broken trombone.
I glare over at the table. Yosemite is chin deep in a book and sifting through the pages. Papers littered the table, some sprawled out like a shuffled deck of cards, others stacked into leaning towers. Cardboard box sits right in the middle, acting as an eye to the storm. Without taking her eyes off the book, she raises a coffee mug into the air.
Yellowstone. Tea.
Just a jiff.
Yellowstone Power walks over. Balancing the bowl in her arm, she tips her hat and pours the water, from the kettle to the cup. The process is delicate, like a ballerina bending into the shape of a swan. Nonetheless, through the teetering and tottering, the kettle stays balanced on top of her cone head.
Want me to replace the bag? It's pretty much water now.
Don't be wasteful. There's still some flavor left.
Fine, fine.
Yellowstone gives a defeated sigh, the same one I give every time I have to tell someone, yes, you need a permit to fish.
How about you, Eve? I saw you chugging coffee last night. Bet you take a black, huh? You seem like the type of cat who takes a black.
As I pause as I try to get a handle on the stitch to get a combination of the English and slang, a Frankenstein of language.
With a little sugar, actually.
Dang, thought I had it.
She snaps her fingers as she returns to the kitchen.
Oh well. Hop a squat. I'll get you a cup.
Squat a what?
She means sit down.
Hey!
No can do. I have my job to take care of. Patrolling, permits, calls.
Tattling on us.
Her eyebrows bounce up as she takes a sip of her tea.
Priority number 1, I assure you.
I give her a phony smile that lapses into an eye roll. I hope she sees it. She's right though. It completely slipped my mind. I guess when it became clear that they probably weren't going to kill me, my mind started drifting to more abstract questions.
You can do all that later. Just breathe in that fresh morning air for now. I'm making flapjacks.
You loop the text box so much. Honestly, I love little things like this. Because they give so much expression, excitement to little things. Just like, oh yeah, you know, it is a visual novel. And there obviously is a limit to how much movement there's going to be. But something like just having a sprite move across at this fast of a pace makes it look funny. Because it's like, oh yeah, she just ran across the room. Just
Yay.
Yay!
Except her quiet cheer doesn't match her solemn face.
Don't worry, cutie. I'm making you a veggie omelet.
Ooh. Sand's downtrodden face lights up, hopeful but cautious.
Will you use the mushrooms I picked the other day? I can if you go get them for me.
With an excited nod, Sand shuffles off to the closet, and where Zion goes, Pup follows. The bird does too.
Remember to wash them!
Yosemite calls out, but neither answer. Zion digs around in the closet. Yellowstone hums to herself, out of tune and off key.
Fine. Don't cry to me when your stomach starts growing fungus.
Ooh. A frying pan sizzles in the background as everyone goes about their morning, wrapped up in their routines while I'm swept to the side. With not a whole lot else to do except fear for my life, and let's be honest, there's not a whole lot left to fear for anyway, I grab my notebook and sit at the table. Since it's round, I have no choice but to face Yosemite. If it bothers her as much as it bothers me, then she doesn't show it. She grabs a blank paper from a wobbling sack and starts scribbling on it, constantly referring back to her book. Sharing me with a person, or thing, that tried to run me out of my post doesn't exactly thrill me. Having to stare at them the entire time, even less so. Still, I make an attempt to clear my mind and start jotting down the events from last night. But my uniform is tight and restrictive and squeezes around my joints like a python. My writing is similarly uncomfortable and stiff, reading more like a report to Jessie than a deep emotional expression to Teddy. Not that there's much of that left in me anyway. The assailant exited the closet. The perpetrator wrestled the gun from me. These are just a few examples. It's accurate, coherent enough to get the information across definitely, but just dry enough to be vague and frustrating. I experienced it, and even I hardly know what happened. Hell, I hardly know what they are. They aren't ghosts, and I'm an idiot for buying that even for as briefly as I did, but they aren't quite human either. Although after their ears and wings and volcano hats, they may as well be people.
Some sugar or sugar.
Thank you.
Yellowstone sets down a cup of coffee in front of me, the trail of grainy sugar still swirling around in it. There's an explosive pop from the kitchen. Smoke plumes above the frying pan.
No! My flapjacks!
Oh no!
She rushes over like an overworked waitress at a diner and lowers the heat. And me? I feel like a traveler exploring the cosmos. I found an alien society and everything I do is fascinating and how mundane it is.
It's not polite to stare. If we freak you out that much, you can turn around. Or leave. That would work too.
You'd like that, huh? For me to leave you alone so you can just keep mooching off this place.
Are you expecting a no? All the other goons always ran off to the outpost down the road as soon as they caught wind of us. Only ever came back if they had to get something. And never alone.
Any of the sympathy from last night has evaporated with the steam from my tea. All that's left is a condescending smirk. It drives me nuts.
Well, I'm not like the others. Thank God. It doesn't take much to scare the apathy into them.
But not you, huh?
I'm open to suggestions.
I throw back the coffee like it's a nastiest double shot this side of happy hour. Scalding liquid funnels down my throat. Then I surrender to my journal. Yosemite watches me with a focused squint.
What's that? Official report to the head goon?
The lead at the tip of my pencil snaps under the force, leaving a skid mark streaking across the page.
Journal. Sorry to disappoint.
Condensed milk. Her ears twitch at the mention of journal.
What kind of journal? For documenting information? Studies?
Just a journal. I use it to wring out the last few drips of dams I give. Keeps me anchored to reality.
I look up at her, tracing my way from my black roots to her blue hair and down to the frosted white tips. Her hair looks like a waterfall pouring over a cliff.
And boy oh boy, do I need that.
She deflates as if I'm the one responsible for sucking out all the wonder and curiosity in as well.
Suppose I should be proud of you, though.
I keep writing, don't bother looking up.
After all, how many of you suits actually know how to write?
Oh! God damn it, I can't help myself.
You think we're dumb?
I think you're uneducated.
Look, I'm not wild about my coworkers either.
Glad we're in agreement.
But give us some credit. Or at least give me credit. You know what a school is, right?
Something I assume you didn't go to?
Yikes! Have a good night, Mel. Get some rest, hopefully.
No. For me, school was years worth of crap I had to sludge through to even get a sniff.
And was it worth it?
The question is like a splash of cold water to the face. It forces me to decide on whether I want to give the easy answer or the answer that lurks in the back of my heart.
Popular opinion is a giant no. It might be if people cared, but they don't. And even if I thought it was, if those people are the ones I'm protecting this land for, nothing will ever make it worth it.
It is frustrating when all your stock gets back. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yosemite yawns, her face slumped against her cheek in boredom. She returns to her book.
Wow. I was almost expecting something insightful.
Don't like the answers? Don't ask the questions.
It's not the answers that bother me. It's the rotten little mind behind them.
Lightning cracks between us. We glare at each other in silence. My eyes will roll out of my head before I blink.
You two can duke it out after breakfast. Time to chow down.
Hell yeah. Yellowstone swoops in with 2 platters of fluffy stacked pancakes. A thin slice of butter slides across both of them, melting down the sides and mixing with the syrup. I poke at the pancakes with my fork. Is it poison? It seems safe. In fact, it looks delicious, like a picture ripped straight out of a menu before you get the real soggy thing. Cutting a pie-shaped sliver off, I dip it into the shallow pool of syrup that's accumulated at the sides of the plate. Why not? If it's poison, at least it's going to taste amazing. Wah! Your very normal reaction to 2 women being hostile to one another. They're so married. I mean, I don't actually know what the prominent pairing in this game is going to be. I'm assuming those 2, but I know nothing about this game aside from the fact that it has 5 episodes. That's it. I take the plunge. Warm sugar drizzles down my tongue. Rich butter oozes out of the pancakes as I chew. There's a hint of crispiness from the slightly charred rings around the sides of the cake, balancing out the taste of the sugar. It practically dissolves in my mouth. It's pop, sorry to spoil. Damn it! swallow.
Holy crap.
A moan slips out of me, almost a gasp. It would be embarrassing if this weren't so shocking. Oh, delicious. Oh my god. Yellowstone giggles.
Like it?
Unable to resist, I dive in for the next piece. I nod as I talk through the food.
Yeah, it's sort of amazing. How did you even...
I'm basically the chef around here.
That's a good point to come into the stream. I think that's great. I love that for you. Good evening. She beams with a proud smile.
And the maid, and the dishwasher, and the laundry.
The laundry.
You could say that I'm a jack of all trades. Master of them, too.
Ooh.
I'll say. What did you even put in this?
Trade secret.
Simity flips to the next page.
It's brown butter.
No fear!
Ah. A dark cloud of steam trails out from the opening in her head. I think I smell sulfur.
Well, whatever it is, it's delicious.
I wash down the shock with coffee.
Thanks.
Yellowstone's eyes grow to be as large as the platters of pancakes are.
You really mean that? Thanks?
Aww. Oh, wait! On these girls' national parks? Well, see? About that! Would you prefer I tell her to piss off?
Yeah. I was just planning on living off canned sausages while I was here.
That's not a very good or very diet to have, but okay. She is very cute. And like her entire ear is getting red as well. That's so cute. Tears scraped to the corner of her eyes. A whimper. Then a geyser of water erupts from her head.
Whoa.
Holy smokes. I didn't think being complimented would feel so good. You're a good gal, huh?
I wonder where Yellowstone takes her speech from. The water umbrella's over her as she moves in for a one-armed hug. Not overly fond of hugs or getting my uniform soaked with tears before work or touching, I scoot away in my chair.
Ah, that gives me an idea.
She bounces back like a spring. The whiplash gives me a concussion.
What if, and stay with me here, instead of us leaving or you leaving or anyone leaving, what if we just live together?
Very smart. However, I don't think the two main problems here like each other very much. What did you think I was going to ask? No, I'm just wondering because there's a lot of interesting slang she has in her speech. That's what I'm wondering about.
Absolutely not!
Like last night? But every night.
Just give it a think. We already have a solid setup here. We could keep the place nice and tidy while you're wage slaving away all day.
I'm too stunned to outright decline with any kind of resolve. Shameless naivety, the kind tied with a bow and given to you, is impossible to answer with a harsh realism. It's genuine and it's familiar, and if the food will always be this good, maybe the idea isn't what, Eve? Isn't going to happen? Because that's the only thing it is. Remember why you're here. Look outside, look at the land you love, and look at the scavengers that stomp over it. Now remember why you're here.
I'm only here because it's my job. Last I checked, woodland sprites aren't on the payroll.
No! 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 Don't say that about her! Don't be me. I've known Yellowstone for like 5 minutes. If anyone's mean to her, no. I hold her gently like a sweet potato.
pancakes were good, but I'm still radioing this in.
Yellowstone's excitement is snuffed out like a candle.
Aw, I thought it was a pretty good idea.
Yellowstone like hamburger. Hamburger. Oh, come in. Thank you for the follow. Yosemite heaves a small sigh of relief.
Stop scaring me like that. I've had more than enough of Miss Misery.
Before Kim White Bagstein scampers up to Yellowstone with a cutting board, the bluebird from earlier picks at the dried mushrooms that line the board.
Does that mean we'll have to find a new home?
She stares down at the mushrooms dejectedly, but Yellowstone reassures her with a smile.
Don't worry! Yosemite knows a lot of neato places to hide. We can just trust her to take care of us like always.
Aww. But why do you need to be hiding?
Won't last long.
She leans into the table and locks eyes with me.
It's the eyes. They're almost as dull and lifeless as the others.
I don't give her an inch, remaining flat and unblinking.
Your flapjacks are gonna get dull and lifeless if you don't eat them soon.
Yellowstone shuts Yosemite's book and scoots the platter forward. Like a sponge, the pancake has absorbed most of the butter and syrup. With a futile grasp, Yosemite scratches for the book, but it's just out of reach. She sulks and steps the pancakes with a fork.
I was reading that? Now I'll have to find my place again.
Too smart for a bookmark?
Why do parks need beds and a roof over their heads? Yeah, it's a good question.
Smarter than you.
We both take a bite out of our pancakes. Between chewing, I give her the fakest, most plastic grin I can manage, forcing the dimples until it hurts. She does it right back. It's like staring into a twisted funhouse mirror. Why do you need them? Because I am cold. Otherwise? I wonder. Though.
It ain't a big dealio. Your brainiac butt has read all those books at least 50 times by now.
Because we don't get any new books. Probably. Maybe. Also, they're all books about, you know, the national parks here. So is she reading the books to learn about herself? Oh, questions. I probably won't have any answers to anytime soon.
It is a big deal. You'd be surprised by how much you don't pick up on the first time around.
Very true. The gaze drifts over to Sion, who's now crouched down with Pub, letting him sniff the mushrooms. A touch of sadness flashes through her eyes, and for the first time I notice the bags under them.
Or how much you forget.
Oh no.
Too bad Eve isn't sticking around long enough for us to use her credit card. You could have ordered tons more books. And groceries. More fresh veggies, please.
I'm sorry, what? Yosemite sips at her tea and shrugs.
Just be happy you goons are useful for something. They usually cancel the card after the first couple charges.
You need to make it less obvious. You need to make it like small things that don't necessarily show up. Or like for people when they don't check their card as often, they don't worry about it. They're like, oh yeah, I probably got some more groceries than last month or whatever. I try to choke back a chuckle, but it comes out as a snort. This probably isn't the kind of stuff I should condone, but the image of someone like Ernie opening their monthly statement to see an unexpected charge of $600 brings me more joy than it probably should. And honestly, screw Ernie. Taking at Yellowstone's jacket, Zion raises the cutting board up as a reminder.
Omelet, I'm gonna croak from hunger.
You get notifications from every charge? Oh yeah. You need to get someone who doesn't get notifications for every single charge. Or who gets so many notifications for every single charge that they don't worry about it anymore. They're like, oh, it's just another one, whatever. Yosemite winces at croak.
Please stop teaching her your second language.
But Yellowstone ignores her. She bends down and takes the board, her expression melting into one of complete adoration as she gushes over Zion.
Sorry. Do you want spinach on it too? Mm-hmm. Don't cook it with butter, though. Huh? You sure? I want you to have enough energy to go hiking with me later.
I don't think so. After you're done here, there's a whole lot of cleaning up you have to do.
No.
Give me a break. I just swept the other day.
And now the kitchen is a disaster zone. Clean. before we leave.
Grumbling to herself, Yellowstone slouches back to the kitchen.
Maybe things wouldn't get dirty so quick if you actually rinsed your dishes.
Ooh.
What was that?
Nothing.
Yeah! Nothing, Chief.
Yosemite returns to her book, occasionally picking at her pancakes. When she's positive Yosemite isn't looking, Yellowstone pokes her tongue out at her. It's weird. I wouldn't expect some kind of hierarchy to exist among them, but Conehead and the Pixies seem to revere her like a big sister. All that's missing is her flipping through a nature magazine while hugging the phone. Girls still do that, right? Eve, how old exactly are you?
Must be pretty gripping if you can't tear yourself away from it for more than 5 seconds.
The hand would probably get stuck in a hole in her head. I don't think you want your head stuck in some kind of geyser, volcano.
It's not.
Even if it's
Just
fun-sized.
my accounts from a miner that passed through these parts a long time ago. But it helps.
With your research?
Her brow furrows and she gives me a side-eyed glance.
Want to tell me how you know that?
You have a folder that literally has research written on it. Wasn't hard to put 2 and 2 together.
An actual answer? Oh? Yeah, actually. I love extra information.
Look, it does math.
It does facial reconstruction too.
Eve is 27. The game takes place in 2015. Ooh. Oh my god. I'm gonna be as old as Eve is this year, actually. Oh, no. Wow. Ooh. Everything hurts. Don't say things like that was 10 years ago. No, bad. She pinches her eyes shut with a groan.
I knew your snooping would be an issue.
Don't get your yoga pants in a bunch. I didn't actually see anything.
Stuffed from the pancakes, I lean back in a chair and melt. I don't know how much butter and sugar she put in those things, but my uniform feels like a button might pop off.
Gotta say though, I'm curious what someone like you could be researching.
Listen, the only reason why 27 feels crazy to me is because I'm not used to even being 26. Like if someone asks me how old I am right now, I'm like 25, 6. There's this weird disconnect there, which is crazy to me considering it's already been like almost half a year. And now I'm just sitting here like, what? Another birthday? Pink 23. I think no matter how old you get, it's always like, what? Another year? Yosemite pushes up against the table. A gleam of excitement colors her face.
You're curious?
I am. Excitement clouds into suspicion.
Why?
Just Stam?
Being so close, I get a good look at her defined, pointed face. No loose skin, no flap, not even puffy baby fat around her cheeks.
Can I get some personal space here? I don't want to catch your personality.
Where's my personality when you need it? Immortality, yeah. Damn it. If it's going hard enough, she's actually kind of cute. She pulls herself away and goes silent.
My curiosity is waning.
Shut up.
Patting the bottom of her lips, she glances back and forth. She sighs and closes her book.
You see Yellowstone's head?
Yeah. Her voice drops to a hoarse whisper as she leans in. I do the same.
How could I not?
What does it look like to you?
A volcano?
What does this have to do with any...
Just tell me what it looks like.
A volcano? It looks like a volcano.
And can you guess what has a volcano?
Yellowstone National Park, obviously. But volcanoes don't actually look like that.
You're not going to get anywhere with that kind of linear thinking.
She moves on.
and look at Zion.
I do. She hovers in the air, keeping the omelette out of Pup's reach. Leaves float off her like autumn.
No, this isn't coyote food. It's not good for you.
See those leaves and branches? Pretty lush, right?
Sure.
Remind you of any particular painting?
She points her thumb at the wall. I glance back and admire the painting of Zion National Park with its deep greens and mix of fiery reds and beige.
Wait, are you saying...
Starting to get it?
My mind skates to the obvious.
Yeah, the three of you like playing dress-up. Real cute.
It's amazing how you keep finding new ways to disappoint me. Let's try this again.
I ignore the snark dribbling out of her mouth. After all, disappointing people is second nature at this point. Myself, particularly. Yosemite scoots against the table. She points at her face, specifically the freckles dotted across it.
Are you giving me permission to slap you?
I'm giving you permission to learn. Now touch it.
Oh. Closing her eyes, she sticks her chin out and waits, like someone expecting a kiss. I start to reach out my hand, but an overabundance of caution keeps me from going any further. What if this is some kind of trick? She tried to scare me away, didn't she? What's stopping her from biting off my finger? Wouldn't be the first time someone's tried that while I was on the clock. I shudder as I remember that man's blistering, bloodshot eyes. He had been delirious, caked in pine needles and mud with tattered clothes. No telling what he was hyped up on. After Jessie made sure I was okay, she shrugged. It takes all kinds, she said. Yosemite's nose wiggles impatiently. I decide she's probably harmless, and waking up alive is good evidence for that. Even if we only tossed verbal punches at each other, she was the one who offered a truce. That has to mean something. I can't shake the suspicion completely, but I do reach out and brush my hand over her cheek. A gravely and rugged texture scratches my fingertips where her freckles should be. It finally clicks with me. These aren't freckles at all. They're more like scales or pebbles glued to her face. Just to make sure, I sweep my hand up and down her face. Between the patches of pebbles, her soft skin glows a flushed pink.
I said to touch it, not to caress it. Jeez.
I grip one of the pebbles between my fingers and tug on it. Instead of ripping it off, Yosemite's skin is scratched right behind it. Ah! She pulls away. Hints of tears glisten at the corner of her eyes.
You didn't have to be so rough.
Ah! My mouth hangs open as the confusion bounces around like a tumbleweed in my head.
Is that rock?
Well, it sure isn't costume jewelry.
Oh! Whining, she soothes her pulsing cheek. I twist around and look at the top painting in the pyramid. A lumber dome. I saw glimpses of it on the drive here. If I stepped outside, I could see it now. And every time I've ever climbed up there, it's been gravelly. And it's been rugged. Most mountains in Yosemite Valley are. I think back to Yellowstone's explanation from last night. It's ridiculous, it's absurd, it's basically fantasy. But if there's any other explanation, then I can't think of it.
Your Yosemite National Park.
Dear God, did I actually say that out loud? Am I going crazy? Is that what's happening? But Yosemite gives a satisfied nod, and I'm convinced that I've taken a one-way trip on a crazy train. I'm riding this locomotive off a cliff. Emphasis on loco. Bella! Where the hell have you been, loca?
Now you're starting to get it. Finally.
I try to choke out more words, more questions, but they dissolve into breathy stutters. Yosemite looks on with an amused smirk. Faraway laughter and chatter breaks through the confused silence. From outside, I hear the snapping and crunching of twigs and leaves. The voices get louder, past the cabin, then taper off.
Just, what are you? What are you, really?
Yosemite's smirk fades into a frown. Her eyes scan the mess of books and paper and stay there. Her hand grips the table and her nails dig into the wood. What are you? I know what you are. Say it out loud. You're a national park. Girl. Choo-choo-choo-choo.
You don't know?
I had to believe the genuine shock in my voice. I'm not actually buying this garbage, am I?
That's the winning question, isn't it?
She slinks back in her chair, breaking her razor-straight posture. She sighs, drawing in a deep breath, but releasing it as a quick puff. A frown relaxes into a smile. It's a soft smile, the kind people have when they're nostalgic, or thinking about a family member that isn't around anymore.
Do we not know? Or do we just not remember?
I can do without the cryptic crap.
It's anything but. I'm telling you what I know. And what I know is that I'm Yosemite. Just like they know how there's Zion in Yellowstone.
But you don't know how you came to be. Or why you're here.
Okay, sure. But how do you know?
How do you know that your stomach rumbles when you are hungry? Did someone have to explain the concept to you?
How long have you known?
I don't know.
Have you always known?
I don't know.
Do you know anything?
If I knew anything, I wouldn't be trying to figure it out.
She shoots up out of her chair and glares down at me. Her voice cuts through the air like a dagger. A little outburst throws the room into silence. Yellowstone coughs from the kitchen. Pup's tail spikes up in alert. I stare back, pretending to be unfazed, but secretly am tense. My muscles flex against my uniform. In the thick of the silence, Zion tiptoes over to the table. She latches onto Yosemite's hand, her own tiny hand only managing to wrap around 3 fingers. Wordlessly, she gazes up at her with deep, pleading eyes. Yosemite's sharp face softens back to a solemn smile. Her hand engulfs all of Zion's. She strokes her palm and fiddles with her fingers. Zion gives a ticklish giggle.
I have these fragments that pop into my head. Bits and pieces of a language I don't know. Faces I don't recognize, but seem familiar.
Her voice shakes, hovering above a whisper, breaking at the end of words.
And whenever I think I've figured it out, and it's on the tip of my tongue, I forget.
Aww. She shuts her eyes tight, as if trying to envision these things herself. Her grip around Zion's hand tightens, but Zion doesn't pull away or even wince.
They're like echoes that ripple further away with each new epiphany. It just gets quieter and quieter. It's so frustrating.
The words strain out of her through gritted teeth.
But if I can figure out just what we are,
Hmm.
where we came from, then maybe I can finally remember.
She opens her eyes and I look older. It feels like she's staring right through me and gazing at the paintings hung on the wall. Like I'm just another obstacle getting in her way.
So yeah, I don't know anything, but I'm going to.
Well, good for you.
The way she's always staring at me is unsettling. Is it a simmering anger? Reluctant curiosity? I don't know, and if I knew what was good for me, I wouldn't care. I whistle for Pup. He bounces over and in a moment of impossible patience, sits at my feet. He looks up at me, his sad brown eyes connecting with mine as he licks his chops. Now there's a stare I can care about. I tear off a piece of my leftover pancake and toss it at him. Springing from his hind legs, he leaps into the air to snatch it. It bounces off his nose, and instead of any amazing acrobatic display, he twirls in circles until he finds it on the ground. Bravo. Across the table, Zion stares, pouting.
It's just a treat. It's not gonna kill him.
The group of voices from earlier echoes back from outside, rowdier and louder than before. They're ways away, but I can still pick up on the occasional gratuitous curse and obnoxious laugh. Drunk already, kids? Of course, who am I to judge? A couple more months of this job and I'll be investing in a flask to give my morning coffee the extra kick it needs. Ranger Smith may actually end up being my life model. Praise be to Smith. Yosemite eyes the window.
Friends of yours?
Oh, God, no.
No. God, no.
Hey! 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 Thank you. Thank you. Always feels extremely gratifying to say the same thing that, you know, the game says as well. You've already figured that out. I scoff, but it comes off sounding more like a hiss.
A day on the job where I don't have to deal with those hellspawn tracking their carbon footprint in here is a day well spent.
Well...
That's what I thought.
She chuckles to herself. It reminds me of how snide some of my college professors were. The latte in their hand and a hat up their ass. She swipes away a strand of sweat that drips down her cheek.
And what, pray tell, did you think this time?
That I was wrong about you.
Oh? I devote myself to Pup, picking off more pieces of the pancake to give to him. Whatever I can do to make it look like I'm not paying attention to her, but always making sure to keep her within the corner of my eye.
Last night, I could have sworn I saw some conflict swimming around in those dead eyes of yours. Sniffling in the corner, crying about just how tired you were.
Unzipping her jacket all the way, she starts to fan herself, but that slight breeze doesn't cool down my simmering blood. It's like she's trying to roast me until I burn. Who gives her the right to pry, to poke at me until I spill my guts? I'm not here to be judged.
The only conflict last night was you three. Of course I'd be tired. Why do you care?
Because I'm tired, too. Tired of you people prioritizing that ranger image, so people don't realize you're actually hired thugs. You're just one branch on a tree that doesn't even care about you. A bureaucratic arm I'd rather see cut off than fester. You're not here to educate. You're not here to preserve. Not unless preservation looks like a permit. No. You're here to protect the bottom line. To shake people down when they just want to get away from the hell you've created. To make sure there's enough resources intact to vacuum money up when your masters come calling. I've seen your type before. You don't care. Putting on that dumb hat just makes you think you do.
Hey! You're wrong. I was different. I actually did care, right? There was never any glory in this. Just a slow descent into misery, unless that's where the glory is at. Pride for being a glorified security guard that doubles as a janitor, cleaning up the messes of the only people lower on the totem than me. Because the only thing that separates them from me is, what, me caring enough to be miserable for it? But of course, if I'm miserable, that means...
You're right. Maybe I don't.
I bend over and pat Pup's head. He paws on my leg for more, but I stand up.
Maybe caring got too hard. Maybe it wasn't worth the pain it caused.
I take several steps, stopping at her chair.
There is one thing I care about, though.
Sweat runs down Yosemité's cheek in streams. She pants heavy breaths, her chest heaving in and out.
Getting you the hell out of here. I'm radioing this in.
No, we were getting closer.
Oh. That's right, Eve. Do what you have to do. What you should have done all along. I start for the fossilized radio on the desk, but Yosemite scoots out of her chair. Cyan cowers back.
Go ahead. Do it. Prove to me you're just another...
Are you okay? Her voice dissolves into brightly air. There's a solid thump. When I turn around, she's sprawled out on the floor.
Yosemite!
Before I can even connect the dots, Cyan and Yellowstone are already at her side on their knees. Yellowstone grabs a stack of paper from the table and fans her. Cyan squeezes her hand. I race back over and bend a knee. Heat radiates from her like an oven. I press my head against her forehead. As soon as I touch her skin, my hand burns. I yelp and pull away. I feel like I just touched a skillet and the burn seared through a layer of skin.
A fever?
Cyan shakes her head.
A fire.
Huh? Yosemite opens her eyes, glossy and unfocused. Her breath pumps in and out as she fights to get up.
Don't move. You'll make it worse.
Like a fire in the actual park?
It's... close.
She lets out a pained groan. A small hole burns through her jacket sleeve, orange embers crisping around the edges. It sizzles like a cigarette being snuffed out. Like a cigarette.
Oh no.
I swing open the door as I rush onto the porch. The faint smell of smoke tickles my nose. Maybe just a campfire.
Not good.
Hopping back into the cabin, I snatch my hat and pull it over my head. Yellowstone glances back and forth in compulsive panic, mumbling words of comfort to Yosemite. Cyan sniffs back a few tears, then looks to me with wavering calmness. Her tiny voice cracks a little.
How far is it?
I don't answer. The familiar smoky smell, harsher than a chimney, drifts into the cabin. I'm not sure what's going on, and I'm not sure how they know what's going on, but after these last 12 hours, I'm not taking any risks.
Get her to the couch. And whatever you do, stay here.
But Eve, we can...
I run outside, slamming the door before Yellowstone can finish. As I sprint down the path, swatting away the branches and leaves, my eyes start to burn like they've been open for too long, but no matter how many times I blink, that poking sting doesn't go away. A crowd of voices yell up ahead, all shouting over each other and all scared.
Put it out! Put it out!
Thomas Kappa 3.
I'm doing what I can. Now stay back and quit crying.
Hey.
What do we tell you, man? You just had to be the rugged mountain man.
The rugged mountain man.
He gets it. He didn't do it on purpose.
I finally turn my way into a small clearing circled by trees, just a big enough space for Morans to cause trouble. Now this camp of 3, the fucking. A patch of blazing red dances on top of a pile of twigs beneath the tree. The fire branches out on both sides like a trail of dynamite, splitting into a short V. The trunk of the tree is blackened with soot. A group of familiar campers, I only recognize them by their jackets, stomp on the knee-high flames, all their faces twisted in fear. The one I talked to last night sports his green jacket over it, like that's going to make any difference now.
Mountain Man!
What the hell is going on here?
Most of their faces go sheet white, and for a moment they forget about the fire. The kid with the green jacket just keeps swatting the ground, yet whenever he lifts it back up, the flames climb that much higher.
You! 3 seconds to tell me what happened.
I point at him, and this time he manages to pull himself away. He turns to me, his eyes red and watery from the smoke.
We were...
1.
I thought it put it out.
2.
I didn't mean to.
3.
Get out of the way, before your jacket catches.
I march over and shove him into his friends. He doesn't resist, stumbling into their arms like a limp scarecrow.
All of you, get away from here. Back to the campground.
They watch me with wide, vacant stares. If I were a truck driver, I'd have mowed them down by now.
Move it!
All except one nod and start tripping their way through the woods. The kid with the green jacket stares at the growing fire, his knees quivering. His little girlfriend glances back and cups her hands over her mouth.
Come on! Let her take care of it!
He shakes himself out of it, then wipes his eyes as he runs off into the woods. My attention turns to the fire. Stomping on it would just submerge me waist deep in the blaze. The base of the tree trunk ignites, and the embers float down onto the scattered path of twigs that make lines for the surrounding trees. I dig my boot into the ground and kick clouds of dirt onto it. Specks of ember snuffed out, but the fire remains just as tall. Unstrapping my walkie-talkie from my waist, I press the comm button and speak into it. Though to whoever's listening in, it probably sounds more like an anxiety attack.
To Illuminae Station, this is Ranger Adams. We have a situation behind the cabin post. 1070, I repeat, 1070. Get dispatched to send out a fire unit.
A broken voice crackles through the static. Yeah?
To Illuminae Station, do you read me? To Illuminae Station!
Oh boy. I look around and realize just how caged in by these trees I am. No wonder the signal is so jumbled. I did notice a fire extinguisher at the cabin, and the station is less than a mile away. If I ran, I could warn them, but with how quickly this thing is getting out of control. I scan the clearing. Snow is still on the ground, half melted and tossed around in random splotches. Why is that dolphin in the It's not a lot, but it could work. I scrape up as much snow as I can sandwiched together. Clots of black dirt stain the white. It feels like dry ice in my hands. I toss it over the fire. Most of the snow melts in an instant, but a section of the fire is extinguished along with it. For a brief second, relief washes over me, but just as fast it's ripped away. The fire flares up, engulfing more of the tree. A winter heat kisses my skin, the flames inching closer. A forest fire on the first day. Wonderful. Taking 3 nervous steps back, I glance over my shoulder. If running to the station is the only way, I guess I have no choice. My legs bend and I take my first giant step, but before I can take another, a shrill voice breaks through the woods. Ayo! Yellowstone launches past the trees and into the clearing. Branches and leaves cling to her clothes. She skids to a stop, her eyes locking onto the fire.
Okay, so that's happening.
Hey, yo! I love her.
What are you doing here?
Eve! There you are!
She offers a stiff salute.
We're here to help!
We? Her voice is muted, buried under the crackling of the fire.
We?
Descending from above the tree, Cyan flaps her wings as she glides down to me, stopping to meet me face to face.
You can't do this alone.
I told you to stay at the cabin.
Miss Eve, if this doesn't get put out soon, there won't be a cabin.
The usual meek voice rings with a mature clarity. Like an untamed weed, the flames shoot up taller. Branches look like candle wicks. Smaller flames snake through the surrounding trees, lighting the very soil aflame. I hate to bring non-part personal into this, but she has a point.
Fine, but as soon as things start looking hairy, I want you to get out of here.
Cyan is also very much a park. Frenchies be like, wee! They give hurried nods. Good enough for me. Congrats, girls, you're deputized.
Gather up as much snow as you can and dump it on the fire. Dirt works too, but don't give the fire any extra fuel.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Yay! Oui, madame. We all scramble to work. Yellowstone and I search for scattered piles of snow. We scrape them up by the armload and drop them onto the fire. The snow evaporates before our eyes. Silent flutters up to the peaks of the trees, shaking any branches that are still coated white. The snow crumbles away, smothering large portions of the flames. It sounds like sizzling bacon. But as helpful as science effort is, it only puts out the connecting trails of the fire. The second tree cracks as flames spread across the bark, then the next tree. The smoke is harsh and oppressive, flaring right into the back of my nose and filling my lungs with buckets of burning air. Squinting is the only way to see through the pain. I expect my eyes to shrivel up in their sockets. Through a fit of pained coughs, I call out to Yellowstone and Zion, hoping the two blurry watercolors in front of me are them.
No good. We need to get out. ASAP.
Wait! I have an idea!
Save it. If we stay here, we're toast.
The blur that I'm pretty sure Zion ignores me, turning to the Yellowstone blur instead.
Yellowstone, you know I love you lots, right?
Uh-oh.
Course I do! Love you lots too! But the fire!
Don't make her cry.
I know! Which is why I'm really super sorry for what I'm about to do.
Oh no.
Please don't hate me.
Oh no!
How could I ever hate my Earth Inc?
Zion raises up a tiny leg and stomps down on Yellowstone's foot. The snapping of branches and crackling of the fire is enough to disguise the crunching I hear Zion digs her heel into Yellowstone's toes. There's a broken whine. The pain is delayed.
Why?
The high-pitched whine cranks up a frequency, growing as sharp and piercing as a fire alarm. A few sniffs and it dissolves into bawling, shrieking straight into my eardrums. I go from shielding my eyes from the smoke to covering my ears to drown out the crying. A brain-rattling shriek pierces my skull. Water bubbles from the opening on Yellowstone's head, boiling like a pot on the stove. With the explosive power of a gunshot, a geyser of water shoots out of her head, spraying into the air.
Whoa, what?
Good. You're doing great.
Just keep crying!
Oh, try!
Yellowstone keeps the long-form sobbing going. The water sprinkles down on me, cooling me off in the midst of the hellish heat. That's it.
I hear you loud and clear, kid.
I shoot Zion a thumbs up. I have to give it to her. This is a smarter plan than anything I could ever come up with.
Yellowstone, aim for the fire.
Okay.
Sobbing like a child lost in a supermarket, Yellowstone obeys, bowing her head and blasting the geyser at the burning trees. Zion latches onto Yellowstone's waist, guiding the rush of water to the flames. It reminds me of a firefighter aiming a fire hose. Swaying red and orange strings as the water splashes down on it. Bit by bit, the fire dies down. Smoke, lighter than the grey plumes that choked the air only seconds ago, blankets the clearing with a layer of mist. The roaring of the flames quiets into the snaps and pops of a campfire until all I hear are Yellowstone's hushed whimpers. The tears in the geyser have dried up, as simple as twisting off a faucet. The three of us hack out our lungs, retreating from the smoke so we can get a better look.
Is it out? Do we get it all?
Honestly, I'm a big sucker for, like, personifying, gijinking, you know, anything. No matter how weird the idea may seem at first. I remember many years ago, I was following an artist back then on DeviantArt, if that's even how you pronounce the website, I never knew, who would draw like gijinkas of like any kind of food you could think of. Like they had hundreds of artworks. 10 years ago when this game takes place? No, I think more than 10 years at this point actually. Like in my early internet days. You can forget about DeviantArt, you can put that site in the trash where it belongs nowadays, but the Burger Girl figure being two different versions of the Burger Girl. And well, maybe we're thinking of different Burger Girls. I'm thinking of the ones where they're like kind of look like ones you could bite into. Those were good.
You haven't touched EA since my high school days. I still have access to my old account, but the site's been overrun by AI generated stuff, and they're actively embracing all that, so you know. Yellowstone brushes away the remaining streaks of tears.
Looks like it.
I scuff the heel of my boot against the dirt just in case there are any stray sparks.
Yellowstone!
Siren tackles Yellowstone's leg, snuggling her face into her jacket.
I'm so proud of you. You did really good out there. You were so boss. That's how you say it, right?
So, boss!
Gee whiz. You really think so?
You slayed out there!
She wraps her arms around Zion and brings her in for a hug.
You did pretty swell out there, too. That was some quick thinking.
I crack a smile, and how can I not? We just stopped this whole section of the park from going up in smoke. Also, these two might be adorable. Still, I can't help but shudder at what would have happened if I weren't here. And it's all because of those punks, another group of careless campers. If it's not painting on rocks, it's hunting without a license. If it's not hunting without a license, it's somehow starting off a forest fire in the biting cold of early spring. My smile, that small burst of happiness, is short-lived. A glowing sense of duty lights up my guts as raging as the fire. I start trudging my way out of the clearing.
Miss Eve?
Right, they were dumb as campers. Yeah, get it right.
Thanks for the help. But you two need to get back to the cabin.
Where are you going?
To snuff out another fire. Before it spreads.
The rage stews inside me, building like a pressure cooker. I storm out of the woods. Pup's howl yelp out from the cabin as I pass it. Of course this would happen. Of course it would. How could Jesse think things would actually get better here? Why would I even humor that optimistic junk? After all this time, I should know better. I should know how these people operate. I should know every thoughtless bastard tells themselves they aren't a problem and that one slip-up won't hurt anything. How the old men grumble about permits and feel entitled enough to throw their empty cans of beer into the lake because a sliver of their 6 figures are tossed to us, like tossing leftovers to dogs. It's not enough that I'm beholden to the greed and laziness of bureaucrats and the drooling masses, the land has to be too. Its vivid lushness, airbrushed with greens and yellows, and on those dewy autumn mornings, the brown and orange of harvest. The salt and pepper mountaintops with their rushing waterfalls. From the impenetrable Rockies to the harsh beauty of the Badlands, to the sparkling shores of the Pacific and Atlantic. It's just another resource to exploit, to profit off of, to enjoy, then abandon. If that's how it's going to be, if that's the world we've built, let me be the first to try and knock it down. When I get to the camp, the Brat Pack is huddled in front of a tent. It shakes and blows with the wind, held down only by stakes driven into the ground. They speak in anxious whispers, unaware of my presence. The kid in the green jacket puffs away on a cigarette, combing his fingers through his messy hair. His girlfriend is the first to see me charging over. She mumbles his name, but by the time he notices me, I'm already up in his dumb face. I nab him by the collar and yank him from the safety of his group. I twist his shirt so my knuckles press against his neck.
I've met a lot of idiots on this job, but you must be a real protege.
Like the spilling of the Red Sea, his friends clear a path around him.
Whoa, take it easy, lady.
This is assault! Oh my god, do you know how unethical this is?
Girl, shut the fuck up!
Yeah, almost as bad as arson. Wanna report it?
That shuts her up. I'm not going to lose any sleep because I dangled my slice of authority over these idiots. Not now.
What was rattling in that skull of yours, huh? You a firebug? This what gets you off? Or are you just stupid?
This moron with his ironed-out, wrinkleless brain can only find it in himself to stutter. As he shakes, a pack of cigarettes bounce around in his breast pocket.
That's what I thought.
Arson is unethical news to me. I tuck him closer. He swallows, his Adam's apple brushing against my fist.
Listen here, you little shit.
Finally, he breaks out of his catatonic state and struggles to pull away. This just pisses me off more. I snatched a lit cigarette from his mouth and crumpled it up in my hand.
I said listen!
The cigarette singes my palm. I hardly feel it thanks to the adrenaline. Maybe this is what finally puts the fear of me into him because he gasps. Audibly. The last of the smoke whisks out of his mouth.
Do you know how sick I am of this? How often I have to sit by and watch people like you destroy good things? Does it even register? Is it some kind of game?
My throat clenches and my eyes sting with tears. I blink it away, but my unclouded vision only shows my fist clenching his shirt. There's an awkward silence as his friends glance away. Even he starts to wince, but I only grip tighter.
What gives you the right to burn the last few pieces of dignity this scarred husk of a rock has left? To raise any proof that we were once humble enough to live and breathe and die with the world we got dropped into? Before we got so tied up with ourselves, we felt the urge to make a distinction.
His eyes swoop up above me and linger there.
Answer me!
Damn.
Tell me I'm not just a bandage for your arrogance!
I was just trying to start a campfire with a cigarette, okay?
A bird caws. For a moment, all I hear is the wind. Tears fall absent-mindedly from my cheeks. A campfire. With a cigarette. 4 years of pent-up anger, forgotten passion, frustration, and confusion. It all comes rocketing out of me as I swing my fist at his face. A hand grips my arm before I can connect.
That's enough, Eve.
I spin around, seething with fury. Yosemite stares down at me a little worse for wear, but tall and straight like a I don't know that word! Still, she towers over the campers. They look like shrubs in comparison.
You've already chewed them out. They were just about to leave anyway.
Ethical arson?
Sequoia? Stray! You might even get to meet Artie's family. Well. Her voice is stern and certain. She scans a group of campers, her steely gaze punctuated by the residue of sweat that sticks to her cheeks. You hardly doubt it? Yeah! They each give an affirming nod. The kid in the green jacket wriggles out of my death grip, and a whole lot of them scramble further into the can.
Why the hell would you do that? They're just going to call...
She envelops her arms around me, then pulls me in for a hug. My hand blows off.
Thank you. I needed to hear that.
What?
Her voice is a whisper that caresses my ear.
You've done enough. At least for today.
I've done enough. I hear that and go limp. Over her shoulder in the thick of the woods, I can see the cabin nestled under the pines like a forgotten paradise. The citrus smell of lemongrass sticks to Yosemite's jacket. Her skin, while no longer feverish, is warm like an embrace from a blanket. The image of the cabin blurs as my breath shakes, and for the first time in maybe 4 years, the tears aren't angry or frustrated or confused, only sad. I can finally let them be sad.
I just wanted to protect what I love.
Yosemite gasps as if her breath has been sucked away. She pushes my head down, pressing it against her shoulder as she strokes my hair. I cry into her jacket, the tears dampening the hide and leather.
You're a fool.
Oh! She chuckles and I can hear the soft grin in her voice.
But maybe we need more fools.
The tears keep coming. So much I think I might choke on them. With each breath I draw and every sup I take, my throat gets tighter. Maybe it's trying to wring it all out after all this time. To be commended like that means more to me than approval, or a pat on the back from Jessie. It's validation. It's acknowledgement that even if what I'm doing is meaningless, I've still devoted myself to it and suffered. Hey, welcome back. I'm sorry, I have no say in the matter. And maybe the suffering isn't entirely worthless after all. And as Yosemite holds me, while the wind howls through the branches and the larks whistle above us, I start to think maybe it's worth it to hold on and suffer for just a bit longer. Aww.
Get validated by Yosemite.
Just listening to all that gives me a headache. How on earth did you find so much trouble on your first day?
It's because I'm the protagonist in this video game.
That's why. Jessie's voice pops with static over the headphones. I turn from the radio and back to the girls. Yellowstone dusts the corners, inspecting for even the tiniest speck. Zion rubs pubs pink pot belly in front of the roaring fireplace. Yosemite jots down notes on whatever scrap piece of paper she can find on a table littered with them.
I guess I just have a penchant for it.
Also, thank you for the pet diary time.
But still, to just stumble on a fire like that.
She says it with a phony curiosity that seesaws with genuine concern. She suspects something and she's trying to goad it out of me. Sly as ever, Jessie.
Well, in any case, I'm just happy you're safe. We got awfully lucky with this one.
Yeah.
With all this wind, you better believe we did. It could have been an even bigger pain in the neck.
A pain in the neck is still a pain in the neck, Eve. It's still going to be sore when you're hunched over all that paperwork.
First few sentences are so layered with subtext, I'm not sure where my exhaustion for having to write it ends and Jessie's lament for having to read it begins.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get around to that.
You'll have it for me the next time I visit. Maybe if you're nice to them, someone at the other station will transcribe it for you.
Man, actually, no joke, I would love to transcribe stuff. I like listening to things and figuring out what they're saying. I love writing stuff. Sunshine beams through her sadistic voice. I can feel her hand cramps already.
But Eve?
The mood turns serious.
Are you sure there isn't anything you want to tell me?
Not a thing.
Okay, then.
She does not believe us. She moves on from it though. I'm not entirely sure she's convinced.
In that case, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And the day after that.
And the day after that.
You really don't have to.
Oh, but I want to.
Over and out, Jessie.
She giggles.
Over and out, Eve. Arnie, get your grubby hands off my trail mix!
The radio cuts out into static, leaving my ruptured eardrums to recover on their own. I set the headphones aside and turned to see everyone but Yosemite looking at me.
I knew it all along. You're just a soft-serve softie.
A soft-serve softie?
With a cherry on top.
Hey.
Yosemite flips the paper over and scoffs.
The pitted kind, maybe. Careful. If you bite down, she'll crack your teeth.
I join at the table and collapse into my chair.
Zip it. Or next time I'll actually let you burst into flames.
Ah.
It was just a fever. I would have been fine. Eventually.
Like that makes any sense. What if there's an actual campfire, or lightning strikes a tree? What happens then, huh?
What did I tell you about linear thinking? If this truce is going to continue, you're going to need to expand to the abstract.
Your existence is plenty enough abstract for me already.
Yosemite pauses over her work. She looks up and smirks, and I smirk back. Who knows? It might be fun to have someone around to spar with. At the very least, she's more engaging than any camp I've ever torn apart. This girl bites back.
All right, everyone, listen up.
He looks down inside and stiffens to attention. Pup rolls over onto his pup butt.
If you're bunking here, I want this place to stay immaculate. Last thing I want to deal with after clocking out is a pigsty.
Yeah!
Yellowstone will handle it.
She can start cooking for one more, too. That's so mean, guys. How can you just sell me up the river like that?
Like what?
Oh, that reminds me. What are you going to do with those campers, Miss Eve? Flip their lids? Make them apologize? And take them out back? Have them pinky swear not to do it again?
None of the above. I'm letting them off the hook. If I'm lucky, they'll get picked off by a killer in the woods. Otherwise, everybody gets one free pass.
Well, it could be tea, it could be coffee right now. Though I think it's specifically in this kettle, it's only the tea, and for the coffee, we're actually using this thing. Both look shocked, but after glancing at each other, they shrug. Pop trots over and curls up at Pop trots over and curls up at my feet.
Now that's funny.
The percolator. It sounds like the coffee making nature, like it's something from Phineas and Ferb. I swear to God, the percolator.
For someone who doesn't care, you sure put a lot of energy into it.
Sounds like a burger. Hey.
Welcome to me and Zion's first fireside chat.
Oh, that was episode 1. Oh, that's lovely. Look at that. We managed to do one whole episode in one stream.
Hello. It's very nice to be here. Today we're gonna do our gal Eve proud and talk about the history of the National Park Service.
Oh yeah.
Before Yosemite finds out we took her books. I hope. Aw, don't be square, cutie. We got this. It all started back in the 10th century when Leif Erikson... That's a little too far back, Yellowstone. Oh, Columbus and his pilgrims, then. I don't think that's quite right, either. It's a good guess, though. The National Park Service actually has its roots in the years following the founding of the United States.
Okay.
In 1790, after getting permission from Congress, President George Washington obtained land near the Potomac River to build a new capital city. This city was named Washington, D.C., and the plan was for it to have a lot of really pretty parks and monuments.
Okay.
Like the Lincoln Memorial? A little too soon. But you're on the right track. These places were called the National Capital Parks, and they laid really important groundwork. Whoa, so the Park Service is old as dirt, huh?
Oh, it's dirt.
Not really. There's still a ways to go before the actual Park Service. What happened? I thought you read the book. I did, but without pictures, all those words just make me
So drowsy.
Oh. Well, I guess I can explain. If that's okay. Knock our socks off. I'll try.
Alright.
For a long time, most parks were run by different groups. No one really thought about preserving land until people started looking to settle in the West. I remember what happens now. A whole bunch of hippies got misty-eyed and started thinking about how they could keep the land from getting stomped on. One of whom was... George... Yeah? Harrison? No. Kathleen! George Kathleen. Phew. Yay! Good job, Yellowstone. George Catlin was an artist and writer. He lived with Native Americans and was one of the first outside of their tribes to paint Plains Indians in their day-to-day lives. While he was kicking back in South Dakota, he realized we'd be in a lot of trouble unless humans put their heads together.
I have a déjà vu.
Not unless... By some great protecting policy of government in a magnificent park, a nation's park containing man and beast, in all the wildness and freshness of their nature's beauty. We're almost to my favorite part! It's my favorite part too, because in 1861, the United States Congress appointed the geologist Ferdinand Hayden to lead an expedition to the Yellowstone region of Wyoming.
Wyoming!
Hey! That's me! Uh-huh. And he thought you were so pretty that when he came back, he asked Congress to make you a national park. Aw, he should have gone further south if he wanted to find a real cutie.
Oh!
Anyway, it was in 1872 when President Ulysses Grant finally signed a bill that set aside 2.2 million acres of Yellowstone as a public park. So if you think about it, you're the first national park.
Crazy.
Jiminy Cricket, I'm old as dirt. The Antiquities Act of 1906 made it possible to protect more areas as parks and monuments, but they were run by different departments. It was confusing. So on August 25th, 1916, the National Park Service was founded. Ah, yes. The best holiday after Arbor and Earth Day. It would take a while before it got the power it has today.
Execute Executive Order 6166.
Hello?
Yay! You remembered again. From then on, everything was under strict control by the Department of the Interior. And they've been yanking our chain and screwing us over ever since.
Hello?
You sound like Miss Eve. It's scary. That's because I heard her grumble something about it earlier. She talks a mean jive, let me tell ya.
Yellowstone! Why aren't my books
Would you look at that? We're all out of time. Catch you next time, campers. And remember
to love our parks.
Bye-bye.
That's not how I expected her to leave the screen. Hello? Sound whips through the air, but from what and who? I look around, but I don't remember telling myself to turn my head. Like I'm a trapped observer in my own body. I'm sorry. Does it just keep going, or should I just say, okay, I'm gonna save here before it turns into... No, but it's still part of cabin fever. What the fuck is happening? Okay, you know what? No. No. Yes. Let's have a look at that weird, scary, creepy sound next time, because I'm not. It gets louder if you open the pause menu. Oh no, it's a bug. Oh no. Okay, good to know. Okay, well, I'm probably wondering. Oh no, no. We'll have a look at that one next time then. Next time, probably, hopefully tomorrow. Actually, today is Tuesday, right? Yeah. No, Wednesday should work, I think. Thank you for listening. No, thank you for coming by. I'm actually really happy that I've managed to make it through the entirety of the first episode, because I was like, oh, you know, it's the introduction. You won't be able to tune in tomorrow. No. Well, good for you. Good thing for you is I do keep VODs. I do upload the VODs. I mean, they're kept for 2 weeks on Twitch, and then I do also upload them to YouTube, though those are always a little behind. At 15-hour school day? What the hell? I have my fingers crossed for you, because that sounds awful, and I hope you survive, because what the fuck? Ew. Well, good luck with that. Jesus. I'm gonna send you guys over to Lyri, who's actually doing a donathon right now. So send some love her way. But yeah, thank you so much for coming by tonight. I'll see you all very, very soon. We're gonna continue National Park Girls. I'm hoping for tomorrow. I think tomorrow should work out. I know I don't have a schedule currently, so we'll just have to take it as it comes. I'm sorry. For now, have a good night. I'll see you all soon. And bye-bye. Bye-bye.